Chapter 904 Yimo's Worry. Chapter 904. Yimo's Worry. Yimo knew what Yen Zheng was thinking and waved his hand. If Brother Yen still considers me a friend, then you must know that I won't join the immortal treasure tower no matter what. But thank you for all your help. This jade card for Kong Yi Qianbei is yours. Yen Zheng looked at the jade card in a daze. He was shook that Yi Mo gave such a precious thing to him. Seeing Yen Zheng in a daze, Yi Mo could only say, "Brother Yen, if you don't have anything else, I'm going to rest. I'm planning on going to see Kong Yi Qianbei later." Yen Zheng reacted and bowed to Yi Mo. "In that case, I'll take this jade card. To be honest, I came here because the big manager wants me to persuade you to join us, but that's not what I want to say. Our tower is not a good destination for Brother Yi. The big manager seems like an emotional person, and he's very dangerous. If it weren't for him, I would have persuaded my uncle to leave the tower already. I will tell the big manager that you have rejected the offer, but you must be careful. Big manager won't let you go like this, so you need to be prepared. I'm sorry I didn't help you much, even though you are giving me this. I'll be leaving now. Take care, Brother Yi." Yi Mo heard this and felt touched. He knew Yen Zheng was a good guy, but he didn't expect him to tell him the truth and take the risk of offending the big manager. However, Yen Zheng's words still made him alert. Without power, he was nothing. He patted Yen Zheng's shoulder and said, "Thank you for your reminder, Brother Yen. I will remember this. By the way," Yen Zheng suddenly turned back again at the door, "you need to be careful of that Chu Meiyan. She's from the demon sections. She's no simple character." Yi Mo nodded. After Yen Zheng left, Yi Mo sat in the guest room for some time. He really wanted to take Song Yangzhu and Yi Ling and company to leave River State and find a safe place to stay. However, if he stayed in one place just cultivating nonstop, he wouldn't achieve much. He had to go to the desert, plain, herb valley. Yi Mo made up his mind. After he went there, he would collect plenty of resources and then leave River State. Yi Mo now decided to meet the respected Kong Yi. If Yi Mo wanted those who lurked in the dark after him to feel threatened, he needed Kong Ye's help. Yi Mo just got up when Mu Yiqing walked in, giving him an invitation. "Brother Yi, this is Immortal Herb Valley's sect leader Mingxin's invitation." Yi Mo thought it was probably about Yen Zheng and looked at the hesitant Mu Yiqing. "Brother Mu, do you have something to say to me?" Mu Yiqing nodded. "Yes, Brother Yi, we're going. I was planning on asking you for some spirit-weaving pill selling rights, but I underestimated its influence. If we really were to try to sell it, we would probably soon be annihilated." Yi Mo nodded. Mu Yiqing wasn't an idiot. If he really gave Mu Yiqing the selling rights, then it would be harming him. Yi Mo wasn't even safe himself. Yi Mo said, "The spirit-weaving pill isn't mature yet, so I can't even sell it, but I agree with Brother Mu's thinking." Then he gave the 2 jade cards for entering the herbal plane to Mu Yiqing. "I only need one. You can have the other 2. Mu Yiqing wasn't even hoping of getting one to begin with. He just took one and said, "Brother Yi, I only need one." Yi Mo remembered that Lu Ming and Mu, he weren't very strong, and so they didn't need 2 jade cards indeed. The Herbal Valley was no safe place, so he took one back and said, "In that case, Brother Mu, we can go there together in 3 days." Mu Yiqing shook his head. I only need the jade card. I will enter it from somewhere else. Brother Yi, you're in a dangerous position right now. You need to be careful." Yi Mo nodded and took out some benefit essence pill and cultivation increasing pills from his ring and gave them to Mu Yiqing. "You're about to reach the Foundation Establishment State Level 9 peak, so take these pills. If I have time, I will go visit you guys at your sect." Mu Yiqing took the bottles and just wanted to thank Yi Mo when he looked inside with shock. This is the cultivation increasing pill?" Yi Mo nodded. "Huh." Mu Yiqing was stunned at Yi Mo's magnanimity. He didn't think a random friend he met would give something that was the most precious thing to a Foundation Establishment State cultivator. "This is too precious. Mu I Ching didn't want to give it back, but he still felt it was too precious. Yi Emo smiled and pushed it back. I'm a pill master. I have lots of these, don't worry. Go form your core, and then lead the herb pill sect to prosperity. Perhaps I will go visit your sect in the future. Yi Emo sent Mu I Ching and company away and then went back inside the hotel. Yi Emo took out the invitation from Ming Xan. It just said that it invited him to Immortal Herb Valley's local residence, saying there were important things to discuss. Yi Emo thought about it and decided to go see Kong Yi and then Ming Xan. The Pill Association was the biggest power in the city, even greater than the city lord. When Yi Emo came to the door, he heard Kong Ye's voice by his ear. Come up. I'm waiting for you on the 11th floor. Coming to the 11th floor, Kong Yi seemed to have been waiting for him for a long time. Kong Yi Qianbei. Yi Emo genuinely respected this old man. Yi Emo respected him for his attitude and manners the most. Letting Yi Emo sit down, Kong Yi suddenly asked, if there had been a third round, how confident would you be in getting first place? Yi Emo thought for a moment and said, 0 confidence. Kong Yi smiled and asked, what if you used all of your power? Yi Emo was shook. No one knew that he had the mist lotus heart fire. What did the old man mean? He saw Kong Ye's calm face and realized that this old man might have seen something, so he said, I would have 100% confidence. Kong Yi nodded without surprise. Other people thought that I let you win because of the spirit-weaving pill and stopped the third round because of that. But I was actually scared you would get first place again on the third round. You didn't disappoint me. You know when to go in and out. I can tell from your first answer, if I insisted on the third round, you probably wouldn't have taken out your rare fire seed. Yi Emo looked at this old man in shock. He was too terrifying. He didn't know how strong Kong Yi was. But since he could tell, doesn't that mean people at his power level could all see that he had a rare fire seed? That way, how could he be sure he wouldn't reveal the mist lotus heart fire? Chapter 905. Marshall Brother, please have some tea? Chapter 905. Marshall Brother, please have some tea. Kong Yi saw Yi Emo's face was a little stiff and smiled. Don't worry. The reason I can tell you have a rare fire seed, Heavenkind, is not because my power level's strong. It's for some other reason. But this shook Yi Emo even more. Was Kong Yi a true immortal? He could tell it was heaven fire? Seeing that Yi Emo didn't talk, Kong Yi took out a dark red ore and said, This is flame lotus heart. Yi Emo immediately felt his Dan Tian jump, as though his mist lotus heart fire had moved. It had slightly moved, and it stayed still afterwards. However, it was still slowly shaking, almost unnoticeably. Yi Emo suddenly realized something. He guessed that Kong Yi Qianbei had his own fire too. He could even tell his fire was the mist lotus heart fire. Realizing this, Yi Emo calmed down instead. Since Kong Yi already knew, there was no point in resisting if Kong Yi wanted his flame. Although Kong Yi was someone he respected, he didn't like this feeling, yet there was nothing he could do. Yi Emo sighed. He wanted to go to the Herbal Valley even more. He had been there for less than a year, and he was at foundation, establishment state, tertiary stage. But without the adequate resources, no matter how powerful his 3-birth chant was, cultivation wasn't so easy. Seeing Yi Emo calm down, Kong Yi nodded. I only realized you had the mist lotus heart fire on the stage. Yi Emo nodded. It was so indeed. The flame lotus heart can make the mist lotus heart fire ascend a level. So, I felt something from the flame lotus heart when I was at some distance from you. However, it was so weak that I didn't think you would have felt it with your power. Kong Ye's tone suddenly grew serious. I was scared that you would be eager to show yourself, not think before doing things, and took out the mist lotus heart fire. If you had taken it out, no one would have been able to protect you. Yi Emo now realized that the old man was protecting him. He immediately bowed to Kong Yi and said, Thank you, Kong Yi Qianbei, I'm really grateful. Yi Mo wasn't going to take out the mist lotus heart fire regardless, but Kong Ye's protective attitude made him feel very grateful. Kong Yi nodded. The mist lotus heart fire is very powerful. It ranked third among all of the flames in the cultivation realm. You must not reveal you have it without enough power. I don't know how you go it, but since you could get it, it's your luck. I also got the flame lotus heart accidentally. Now it's yours. Yi Mo was dazed by Kong Ye's last words. The flame lotus heart can make a heaven flame ascend a level. It was clearly a rare item in the world. It was unbelievably hard for rare flames to ascend, much less a heaven flame. Yet, Kong Yi was giving something like that to him. After a long while, Yi Mo reacted. He finally understood what Mu Yiqing had felt before, and quickly said, Kong Yi Qinbei, this is too precious. I can't take it. Kong Yi smiled. You're very good, you have a heart. You were very worried when you realized I knew you had the mist lotus heart fire. But when I take out the flame lotus heart, you say it's too precious. However, it's only precious when considering the mist lotus heart fire. It's not that precious to me. When I announced you first, I was planning on giving you a fire seed. Yet, since you have the mist lotus heart fire, it's perfect to give you this flame lotus heart. Hearing these words, Yi Mo realized how wealthy Kong Yi Qinbei was. He was going to casually give a rare flame away. Yi Mo stood up, took the flame lotus heart, and thanked Kong Yi again. Seeing this, Kong Yi said, If your flame is orange, then you can't let the mist lotus heart fire devour the flame lotus heart yet. You must wait until you're at golden core state. I believe you came to the tournament mostly for the desert herb valley. There are no nascent soul state cultivators there, but there are many golden core state masters. There's a lot more than 500 cultivators going in. Although the North Far State can only choose 500 cultivators to go in, it's not only open to the North Far State. You need to be careful. Yi Mo had even higher hopes now. It meant that there were better things in it, since people from other states wanted to go. You know that Luo Yu continent has 4 states and a sea, right? Kong Yi asked. Yi Mo nodded. Kong Yi wasn't too surprised that Yi Mo knew. The valley is open to every state, but each state has limited spots for going in. However, it's very big. Usually, even when the place is about to close, 90% of the people won't have met someone else. But if you meet cultivators from the South Peace State, you need to be careful. They are very decisive in killing. Those who can go inside are all-powerful. Seeing Yi Mo understood this, Kong Yi nodded and said, I was planning on passing on my pill concoction heritage to you, but after seeing you concoct the spirit-weaving pill, I know you will be a great master, and your accomplishments will exceed mine by far. If I teach you my things, it would affect you negatively instead. The spirit-weaving pill brought you fame, but also put you in a dangerous predicament. You need to deal with it yourself. Yi Mo realized that Kong Yi had asked him to come so he could give him the flame lotus heart, but he also wanted to protect him. Yi Mo was more grateful to Kong Yi now. He noticed that Kong Yi had closed his eyes and knew that Kong Yi had said all that he wanted to say. Yi Mo bowed at the end and said, Wan Bei will remember Qianbei's teachings. Wan Bei will leave now. When Yi Mo got to the door, Kong Yi suddenly opened his eyes and said, If you're still alive in 100 years, you can find me at Danglin. The Immortal Herb Valley's residence was much more grandiose than Kong Ye's residence. Even the carpet was emitting spirit qi, which would make it very comfortable to step on. As soon as Yi Mo got there were 2 pretty-looking young girls who led Yi Mo to Ming Xian's room. Yi Mo was surprised because usually someone with a sect leader status wouldn't let him come to his own room. At most, it would be in the regular guest room. Yi Mo found that there was also another beautiful young girl in her room. She was very quiet and stood by Ming Xian's side. She was Qin Muxin. Ming Xian was very happy to see Yi Mo come in. She told Yi Mo to sit down with a smile and then said to Qin Muxin, Mushin, make some tea for Mr. Yi. Qin Mushin carried a teacup to Yemo with a blushed face and said quietly, Elder Marshal Brother Yi, please have some tea. Yemo was dazed. She was at Golden Core State and he was at Foundation Establishment State. Why had she called him Elder Marshal Brother? Chapter 906, Marry into the Sect. Chapter 906, Marry into the Sect. What does Ming Xian Qinbei need Wanbei for? Yi Mo didn't feel confident facing the hollow spirit state. Sect leader Ming Xian. Ming Xian sipped some tea before saying slowly, Mr. Yi, you haven't joined any sect yet, right? What do you feel about my immortal Herb Valley? When he heard this, Yi Mo was dazed. Didn't the immortal Herb Valley only take female members? Why did it sound like Ming Xian was inviting him to join the immortal Herb Valley? Ming Xian Qinbei. Yi Mo, don't understand what you mean. I heard that the immortal Herb Valley only recruits female members. Yi Mo said straight away. Ming Xian smiled. Don't worry, Mr. Yi, we do indeed only take female disciples. However, if you choose to marry into the immortal Herb Valley, you can join us. Our core disciples can choose a partner from outside the sect and settle with him in the valley. You want me to marry into the sect? Yi Mo blurted. Yet, he immediately understood the situation. Qin Mushin was there, which meant that Ming Xian wanted Qin Mushin to be his wife. Ming Xian smiled sweetly. Mr. Yi said things quite straightforwardly, but it's correct. It's not really marrying into the immortal Herb Valley, it's just settling here. Ming Xian continued. Mushin is the most excellent disciple of the immortal Herb Valley. She ranked 5th on the Foundation Establishment State Hall of Fame, and now she has reached Golden Core State. She even ranked 4th on Pill Concoction Hall of Fame. More importantly, she's the #1 beauty in the immortal Herb Valley. If Mr. Yi is willing Qin Mushin heard this and blushed even more. She looked down and didn't dare say a word. Yi Mo didn't know why Ming Xian looked so favorably of him, but he was sure Ming Xian wanted Qin Mushin to marry him. However, Yi Mo had no intentions of having another wife. So before Ming Xian finished, Yi Mo quickly got up and bowed. Thank you, Ming Xian Qinbei, for your generosity, but I already have a wife. Hence, I can only reject Qinbei's offer. I'm deeply regretful. Ming Xian was dazed. She hadn't expected Yi Mo would reject her so bluntly. Qin Mushin heard this, and the blush on her face went away. Her face even got a little pale. To be honest, she wasn't willing to marry someone she didn't even know for her master, but she had never gone against her. Yet, before she could say anything, Yi Mo had rejected her without hesitation. When Ming Xian realized that Yi Mo actually had rejected her, her tone turned cold. Mr. Yi, I know you have a wife, but I never told you to divorce her. You can bring your wife and sister to the immortal Herb Valley. Moreover, who said that us cultivators can only have one spouse? Yi Mo realized that Ming Xian had completely investigated his identity. Ming Xian paused for a moment and continued. The reason I chose you is not because you made the spirit weaving pill, but for some other reason. I don't think you're dumb. Without the support of the immortal Herb Valley, how many people will be going after it? I bet you know quite well. Yi Mo heard this, and his heart started skipping even faster. Was it not for the spirit weaving pill? Had she also seen that he had the mist lotus heart fire? But soon he calmed down. He felt like Ming Xian probably meant something else. Just when Ming Xian was about to explain, Qin Mushin suddenly said, Master, I don't agree to this wedding. Ming Xian was dazed. She had already told her disciple to choose Yi Mo, and she had given her the reason. Why was her disciple rejecting him? Yet, she soon realized that since Yi Mo had already rejected her, if her disciple also didn't reject him, she would lose a lot of face. Seeing this, Ming Xian understood it was probably fated. She remembered what her master had told her. Ming Xan, if one day you see someone making spirit sense pill signs using ordinary qi fire, then this person has created a new system of pill concoction. He will become a pill immortal for sure. If he doesn't die, then his future will be unimaginable. After Pill King, it came Pill Immortal level. However, there had never been a Pill Immortal on Luoyu continent. She had watched GMO concoct pills from the start to the end. Hence, she could tell that Yemo would definitely not be an ordinary person in the future. She wanted to pull Yemo into the Immortal Herb Valley. Otherwise, with the Immortal Herb Valley status and Qin Mushin's condition, how could she even suggest sharing the same husband with another woman? Since Mushin doesn't agree to this, then never mind. Ming Xian lifted her teacup. She knew that she couldn't force someone like Yi Mo unless she killed him. However, since Kong Yi favored him and his current fame was rising, she couldn't do anything to him then. Moreover, she didn't want to do anything to him. Yi Mo's accomplishments in the future would be significant. It was best to keep good relations with him. Yi Mo left the Immortal Herb Valley residence, sweating. If he had angered that hollow spirit state master, he wouldn't have been able to walk out of there today. He had been threatened by all sorts of scarily powerful people recently. This made Yi Mo feel very insulted, but he could only sigh. He needed to increase his power until the day where no one would dare say a thing to him. When Yi Mo was walking to the Sifang Hotel, he was stopped by a man. "May I ask if you're Pillmaster Yi?" The man saw Yi Mo and saluted him with his fists. "Yes, I am." "Who are you?" The man was in his 40s and had long black hair. However, he was at Golden Core State, primary stage. Hearing this, the man showed excitement and said, "I'm Hu Haibin. I have a request." "What is it?" "Tell me," Yi Mo asked. "I heard you have an extra spot for the Her Valley, so I came to ask for one." "Of course, name your price." "I'm willing to pay for everything," Hu Haibing said. Yi Mo nodded. "Indeed, I have extra spot, but it won't come cheap." Hu Haibing said without hesitation, "I know it's not cheap. Please name your price, Pill." "Master Yi, if I can't afford it, then never mind." Hearing this, Yi Mo realized that Hu Haibing really wanted one. So he said, "I don't really care about spirit stones." Before Yi Mo had finished, the man gave his storage ring to Yi Mo and said, "Pill Master Yi, have a look yourself. If there's anything you want in there, take it." Yi Mo was shook. Storage rings were like the second life to cultivators. Yet Hu Haibing had given it to him casually. Regardless whether Hu Haibing had a second ring or not, Yi Mo had decided to give the spot to Hu Haibing. Even if there weren't things he needed, he would just take spirit stones. He really approved of Hu Haibing's personality. When Yi Mo saw inside the large amount of spirit stones, herbs as well as some spirit artifact, he immediately realized that Hu Haibing had given him the ring he usually used. Chapter 907 Zi Su. Chapter 907 Zi Su. There were millions of middle-grade spirit stones in his ring, and tens of thousands of top-grade spirit stones. This was a very wealthy cultivator. But Yi Mo really didn't need these pills and spirit artifacts. He scanned the whole ring and didn't find anything he really needed. Just when he wanted to just take some spirit stones, he saw a purple sword at the corner of the storage ring. He thought for a moment and took the sword out. Yi Mo immediately felt that the sword was very heavy. He quickly used his cultivation essence to hold the sword. This was the first time Yi Mo saw a sword like that. It was very heavy and looked very ugly. To be honest, it was just like a somewhat longer and thicker chopping knife. But when Yi Mo saw the two tiny words Zisu on it, he was shaken even more. This was clearly a sword. It might look ugly, but it was still a sword, yet it was named Zisu. TL note: Zisu literally means purple hackaxe. Seeing Yi Mo take the Zisu, Hu Haibing quickly said, "I found this sword in an ancient ruin. It's called Zisu, but the only pity is that I can't use spirit control. It can only be used by those with a lot of power. If Pill Master you wants it, then take it. And if you don't think that's enough, take some spirit stones too. Unable to use spirit control, Yi Mo didn't think much about it. He felt this Hu Haibing was a good person, someone worthy of being friends with. Yi Mo threw back the ring to Hu Haibing. Zisu is not bad, I'll take it. As for spirit stones, I won't take any. Here is the jade card. Hu Haibing didn't think Yi Mo would be this easy to talk to. He quickly took the jade card and saluted with his fists. Thank you, Pill Master. If you need me in the future, just call for me. Yi Mo said politely, brother who is a genuine person. It is a joyful thing to have met someone like you. Why don't you have a seat upstairs before you go? Hu Haibing seemed to be in a rush and politely rejected Yi Mo's invitation and left. Going back, the first thing Yi Mo did was to set up some restriction in his room and then take out the Zisu. His guts were telling him that the sword wasn't simple. Yi Mo seeped his spirit sense inside it and tried to use spirit control on the sword. But Yi Mo's spirit sense seemed to have sunk into a sea of mud. At this obstacle, Yi Mo actually rejoiced. He was a formation master, and as soon as his spirit sense and cultivation essence went inside Zisu, he understood that it wasn't that Zisu couldn't be spirit controlled, but that spirit control was stopped by some high-level restriction. The restriction had to be broken first if you wanted to spirit control the sword. The restriction had been there for a long time and was already loosening up. It would still pose some difficulty for Yi Mo, but it wasn't completely hopeless. 2 days later, Zisu made a cracking noise as the ancient qi inside of it seemed to have gone away. Zisu emitted a layer of faint purple color and seemed a lot heavier again. Seeing Zisu like this, Yi Mo rejoiced. He knew that it would be no ordinary thing, that it wasn't even a spirit artifact. But he also knew that it wasn't something on a higher level than a spirit artifact. Yi Mo had to quickly spirit control it so that other people wouldn't notice anything from the purple rays, though. Yi Mo had thought that since Zisu was left behind from ancient times, it would take a long time to spirit control it, but he only spent half a day to spirit control it in the end. The purple ray had rescinded. At the same time, Yi Mo had completely understood what was in his hands. It was a sword fetus. Yi Mo couldn't help but admire the person who made this fetus. After someone spirit controlled it, it would be able to change into the most suitable weapon based on the user. He also found that Zisu could be upgraded. This meant that the master of Zisu could add in different materials at different times to make the weapon more suitable to the master. But after the first upgrade, Zisu wouldn't be able to change shape anymore. Yi Mo was shook. Did ancient cultivators all make fetus-like weapons? But soon, Yi Mo rejected the idea. No matter what material Zisu was made from, if all weapons were made like that, then cultivation artifacts wouldn't be as valuable as they were. No matter what, Yi Mo was really stunned about the means with which Zisu had been made. He guessed that the heritage must have been lost in the cultivation realm. But if he had time, he really wanted to go into the Golden Page world and try out Zisu-like forgery methods. Yi Mo soon did go into the Golden Page world. However, it was not to try to learn the forgery method, but to test Zisu's power. He went into an open space and gathered his cultivation essence, hacking outwards. A purple ray flashed as a ravine that was 100 meters long formed on the ground. Yi Mo even felt that space seemed to have become unstable from that slash. The dull gray sky even rumbled, seemingly unhappy that he was testing the sword in the Golden Page world. Silver, who slept on the side, also seemed to be dissatisfied with it and chirped unhappily. Yi Mo threw a few pills at Silver, and it immediately cheerfully ran to the side. Yi Mo felt Zisu lovingly. This was the magic artifact he wanted. Right now, it was just a low-grade spirit artifact, but Yi Mo was sure he would be able to upgrade it to higher levels. Yi Mo didn't dare to stay in the Golden Page world for long and came out. It was already the 3rd day, so he would have to go to the Herb Valley the next day. Yi Mo walked out of his room, happily. Pill Master Yi. Yi Mo didn't expect to see Yi Qingjun as soon as he came out. He immediately remembered that he had agreed to see him. Brother Qin, I'm really sorry. I went into solitary cultivation and lost track of time. Yi Mo saluted with his fists apologetically. It's fine, I came in suddenly too. Yi Qingjun didn't seem unhappy at all. Yi Qingjun had a really nice attitude and manner. He came to find Yi Mo just to give him a rare herb list. He remembered that Yi Mo hadn't recognized the last 3 herbs in the first round and felt very sorry for him. So he came to give it to Yi Mo. Before Yi Mo got things, the list would have been very important to Yi Mo, but now Yi Mo could only be grateful to Yi Qingjun. Yi Mo felt like Yi Qingjun was similar to Kang Yi. They were examples of genuine and honest cultivators. Yi Mo exchanged some pill concoction experience with him. Yi Mo would have really wanted to give him a Chao Huan pill, but he knew he couldn't do that at the moment. It's not that he wasn't willing, but that Yi Qingjun was too honest and would probably spill that the Chao Huan pill had come from him. Yi Mo benefited quite a lot from talking with Yi Qingjun. Although he had started a whole new system, he still learnt a lot of techniques and common knowledge from Yi Qingjun. This would let him make less mistakes in the future. The two conversed deep into the night before finally leaving. The next morning, Yi Mo and the other cultivators came to the portal to the desert plain Herb Valley. The spots inside were limited, but there were still a lot of people going. Most people went to do business on the outside. Chapter 908. Qin Muxin lends a helping hand. Chapter 908. Qin Muxin lends a helping hand when Yi Mo came to the Herb Valley. A small market had already formed. Most cultivators had squeezed themselves in this area, and stalls were filling it on both sides. Yi Mo didn't have many spirit stones. Although he wanted to buy a set of armor and some high-level paper runes, his spirit stones weren't enough for even a small fraction of that. Yi Mo didn't see any sand in this desert plain Herb Valley, nor did he see any entrance. This place was just a short mountain range. There were no tall mountains or dense forests. Yi Mo was confused but didn't ask. He knew that this place wasn't the Herb Valley yet. He didn't know why he was teleported here, but he didn't go around asking people. Yi Mo scanned his spirit sense and didn't find Mu Yiqing or Hu Haibing. Many people who came here seemed to be with people from their own sect, but Yi Mo was by himself. Yi Mo saw Qin Muxin and Guangwei and a few other immortal Herb Valley people. However, Ming Xian and 2 other nascent soul state cultivators were with them. Ming Xian walked to the group of another sect and talked to the leader. Yi Mo felt unlucky. These big sect members had nascent soul state and even hollow spirit state cultivators to protect them, but he was just a loner. Qin Muxin turned back and caught Yi Mo's glance, but she immediately turned around as though not knowing him. Yi Mo felt bored and found a place to sit down, but not long after, a man and woman came to his side. They were both false core level cultivators, but Yi Mo felt an intense qi come from them from far away. They had clearly been through mountains of bodies and rivers of blood. "Friend, are you going inside the Herb Valley?" the man asked. Just one sentence made people feel his intense killing qi clearly. Yi Mo got up and nodded, yes. Hearing this, the man looked joyful and threw a bag of spirit stones at Yi Mo. "Take these spirit stones and give me your jade card." Yi Mo's eyes went cold. He didn't believe someone dared to take his jade card. He'd worked so hard for it and got in first place in the tournament just so that he could get it. Yet, this guy thought he could just take it with some spirit stones? Before Yi Mo could talk, the false core cultivator noticed Yi Mo's ring and said in surprised joy, "Give me your ring too." Yi Mo was so angry he laughed. "Why should I give what's mine to you?" "I've paid the spirit stones already." The man's voice turned cold. The Herb Valley was about to open, and most big sect members had their Qianbei protecting them. Yet Yemo sat there alone. He was clearly a solo cultivator. P*SS off. Yemo didn't know if he could kill people there, but he didn't want to. F*CKU, how dare you? The false core cultivator took the spirit stones back and took out a dark axe. People immediately surrounded them to watch the fun. Boss, he who dared to offend you? Someone said with a strange tone. A foundation, establishment state, peak stage, cultivator walked out. He was bald and had a fat face. The man said plainly, "Look, there's a blind idiot here. I wanted to buy his things and took out the spirit stones. Yet now he says he doesn't want to sell. F*CK. Does he think I'm easy to mess with?" There were a lot of people around, but no one dared to talk. However, what people didn't expect was that the cultivator who was about to be killed asked, "Are you allowed to kill here as you please?" People immediately laughed at Yemo's question. As long as no big sects were involved, you could kill anyone you wanted there. Of course you can, as long as you have the power. You could kill Boss He, and no one would look for trouble with you. The bald man started laughing as if he had just heard the funniest joke of his life. Yemo nodded. That's good then. Yemo knew that with his foundation, establishment state, tertiary stage power, he could kill this Boss He in one move with the illusion cloud technique. Boss He seemed to understand that Yemo would resist, but he didn't move his axe. He looked at Yemo. I'll give you a chance. Take out your magic artifact, because otherwise you won't even have the time to counterattack. Yemo nodded and took out Zisu. As soon as Yemo took it out, people started laughing even more. Zisu was too funny. It just looked like a long chopping knife. Martial Sister Mushin. That guy seems to be in trouble. The cultivator looking for trouble with him is called Boss He. He's a false core cultivator and has some power in Broken Leaf's gangs. The two are about to fight. Funny how that guy is #1 in the Pill Concoction Hall of Fame, yet he is being bullied by a group of trash. How dare he reject our immortal Herb Valley's goodwill? Serves him right. Guang Wei also knew Yemo, and she had been watching him. Qin Mushin had long since noticed it too and frowned. She moved, and the next moment she appeared before Boss He, and Yemo, who was about to attack, stopped and just stabbed Zisu into ground. P*SS off. If you dare to appear in front of me again, I will kill you immediately, Qin Mushin threatened coldly. Boss He heard this and was about to rage, but when he saw it was Qin Mushin of the immortal Herb Valley, he immediately shut his mouth. He didn't know why she would intervene in such small matters, but he immediately bowed. Yes, Wan Bei will leave immediately. The other bald cultivator also left immediately. They knew they were nothing compared to a 5-star sect. Yemo looked at Qin Mushin in a daze. He didn't expect that the quiet and shy-looking Qin Mushin would be this scary when she needed to be. He didn't know why she was helping him, as he had rejected her yesterday. But no matter what, since she came to help, Yemo saluted with his fists gratefully and said, "Thank you, Mrs. Qin." She looked plainly at Yemo and suddenly said, "To be honest, it's not really a good thing for you to be going to the Herb Valley. If I were you, I'd stay at home and concoct some pills." Then she left. Guang Wei looked at Yemo and said, "You're really lucky to meet the kind-hearted martial Sister Mushin. To be honest, though, I agree with her words. Perhaps you will regret it if you go. Oh wait, you won't have the chance to regret." Then she shook her head and left with Qin Mushin. Yemo shook his head too. If it wasn't for Qin Mushin, he would have killed that He Chong already. In any case, he knew that Qin Mushin had saved him not because she had feelings for him, but because she didn't want a good pill master like him to be killed by a hoodlum for no reason. Then suddenly there was a huge rumbling sound, and Yemo looked over. Chapter 909. The Desert Plain Herb Valley. Chapter 909. The Desert Plain Herb Valley. A huge portal suddenly opened. Everyone immediately approached it. A big, tall cultivator flew up and stood in front of it, saying, The desert herb valley opens once every 50 years. Each time, it's a big harvest for us. However, our North Far State only has 500 spots. It's Lin Qianbei. It's said that he's already at truth realization state. Isn't he about to ascend to the immortal realm? No way. I heard the North Far State has little cultivation resources. There's rarely any truth realization state cultivators. Yi Mo didn't dare to even use spirit sense to look at this cultivator. From his judgment, he felt that he couldn't be weaker than Kong Yi, maybe even stronger. The herb valley is full of dangers, but it also has abundant resources. My opinion is that if you meet an unbeatable enemy, move aside. There's plenty of resources there. Although there aren't many solo cultivators there are still some. Once you come out, you can sell some resources to the Pill Association. We will give you a good price. Okay, I won't talk for long. The portal will last for half a day. In half a day, it will disappear. The valley is open for 3 months. In 3 months, it will automatically teleport the people inside out. Now, those with a jade card, grab your jade card and go inside the portal. Then, Lin Qianbei moved aside. Yi Mo hadn't expected that extremely powerful cultivator to also be from the Pill Association. Just from what he had said, small sect cultivators and solo cultivators usually sold their herbs to the Pill Association. Those with jade cards formed a line in front of the portal and started going in, under the envious eyes of those who didn't. Yi Mo looked behind and noticed a bitter-faced, golden core state cultivator. He took a step forward. Just when he's standing still, he saw a cultivator get thrown away by the light from the formation. Yi Mo was surprised, and the cultivator cried out, "Wang Yukai! That bastard sold me a fake jade card." The formation got activated, and Yi Mo felt a white ray surround him. The next moment, he felt extremely dizzy. Yi Mo realized that he must have covered a long distance, or he wouldn't have felt dizzy. Then his feet touched solid ground. Yi Mo knew he was there. The first thing he did was take out his Zisu. It was his first time there. He didn't know if it was dangerous or not. As soon as Yi Mo held Zisu, he felt a blood-killing intent rush to his face. Yi Mo was shook and hacked at that killing intent without hesitation. After a purple beam, there was a cry. A level 3 earth scorpion had been hacked in half. In front of him there was an endless desert. A 10-meter-long ravine spread below his feet. So strong! Yi Mo subconsciously said and looked at his Zisu. He waved his sword hurriedly, and a level 3 beast died. What if he used illusion cloud with Zisu? Yi Mo took the beast core and the tail needle of the scorpion. Then Yi Mo looked at his surroundings. It was a boundless desert. A few scorpion beasts were crawling underneath the sand surface. There wasn't even normal grass, much less spirit herbs. Was this the desert plain that had countless herbs? Yi Mo suspected that he has been teleported to the wrong place. Suddenly, he heard some gushing sound. Yi Mo scanned his spirit sense out and saw an army formed of countless scorpion beasts charging towards him. Yi Mo saw this, and his head buzzed. If there were this many beasts, then even if there actually were spirit herbs, all of them would have been devoured by these animals. Without thinking, he took out the flying pike and quickly left. Yi Mo knew he wouldn't be able to escape if he got surrounded by these things. Thinking about the desert, Yi Mo thought of Luoing. He wondered how she was. Yi Mo flew for nearly half a day and didn't see a single person, nor any herb. He no longer believed he was going to make a fortune here. Just when Yi Mo was about to land on the sand again and check underneath it, he spotted a black figure in the distant horizon. Yi Mo scanned his spirit sense there and found it was a lush green mountain range. Yi Mo rejoiced and immediately accelerated his flying pike to go there. 10 minutes later, Yi Mo had left the desert. He passing by a nearly 10 kilometers wide river that led to the green mountain range. The dense spirit chi struck Yi Mo, who almost moaned out of comfort. The The first thought Yemo had was not to find spirit herbs, but to cultivate there. The spirit chi there was amazingly dense. However, Yemo knew it would be too much of a waste to use the 3 months there to cultivate. The mountain range wasn't big, it was at most 100 acres. It was more like an oasis rather than a mountain range. Just when Yemo was about to search the place carefully, he saw a very luscious zhouhua flower, which was a level 4 spirit herb and an ingredient for the clear essence pill. The clear essence pill, like the benefit essence pill, was a pill for foundation establishment state cultivators to use. However, its potency was much stronger than the benefit essence pill. The reason the clear essence pill was so much more expensive than the benefit essence pill was that the main ingredient for it, the zhouhua flower, was very rare. Yet now, Yemo had found a big patch of at least 200. Without hesitation, Yemo dug them all up and threw them inside the Golden Page world. Spirit herbs couldn't grow in his Golden Page world yet, but it wouldn't let them die either. Soon, Yemo found more the water earth flower, sword ginseng, searing sungrass, the light gathering flower, and many level 3 and 4 herbs. He collected all of them and sent them into his Golden Page world. Yemo was very fast. He had searched through half of the place in 2 hours. Just when Yemo was digging out some searing sungrass, he smelled a faint aroma. Yemo subconsciously inhaled it, but he immediately realized what was happening. There was an extreme great herb that was about to mature nearby. Yemo rejoiced and sped towards it without hesitation. However, Yemo stopped after flying a few hundred meters. A few hundred meters away, there was a blue tree that was 10 meters all. There were 3 pale blue fruits on it. The Lin blue fruit, Yemo recognized. It was a spirit fruit without element. It was beneficial to all cultivators below nascent soul state. It wasn't for increasing a cultivator's power, nor to be made into a pill. Its main function was that, if consumed with another pill, it would amplify its power. It could also cure pill poison. These 3 fruits were about to mature, but when Yemo saw the big blue snake under the tree, he frowned. Chapter 9:10 Encountering a Golden Core State. Chapter 9:10 Encountering a Golden Core State, this blue python was nearly at level 5, which was like being at halfway Golden Core State. Yemo didn't know what kind of beast it was. However, from its blue color, Yemo could tell that it had been consuming a lot of the Lin blue fruit. The fruit's smell was getting more and more intense. The blue python also saw Yemo. It immediately got up and opened its mouth, hissing at Yemo. Yemo wasn't going to let the Lin blue fruit go away. He ignored the blue python's warnings, pulled out Zisu, and inserted his cultivation essence inside. Zisu emitted a faint purple sword ray. As soon as it was shot out, it separated from Zisu and split into 2. Then, it immediately split into 4 sword rays. The blue python seemed to have never seen such thing before, but it knew of its power. It swept its tail at the sword ray at once. It was the first time Yemo used illusion cloud after having gotten Zisu. The sword ray instantly clashed with the blue python's tail. Yemo felt a huge power smash on his chest. He almost couldn't breathe. He felt as though he was going to be thrown many kilometers away. Yemo was shook. He quickly used his cultivation essence to try to stabilize his body. Yet, even so, he was still pushed back. Luckily, his cultivation essence was a lot more dense than an ordinary foundation establishment states. He was thrown tens of meters away in the air, but he managed to stop himself and landed on the ground. Yemo was shook. He had approached it and used illusion cloud division strike immediately. However, even so, he had still been sent back. The blue python's power was very shocking. He didn't dare to hold back anymore. He injected Zisu with his cultivation essence, and he got ready to use the illusion cloud whirlpool strike. Yet when he looked at the blue python, it dashed across his eyes. The blue python ran away. Yemo was left dumbfounded. Why had the blue python escaped? It had the upper hand. When he saw the blood on the ground, Yemo understood what seemed to have happened. The blue python had gotten scared of his illusion cloud division strike. His first attack had injured it, so it chose to run away. Perhaps the Lin blue fruit wasn't valuable enough for it to fight for it with its life. It had probably eaten too many, and the fruit was no longer useful to it. Yemo put away Zisu and breathed at ease. If he had really fought a life-or-death battle with the blue python, even if he had one, he would have exerted a lot of energy. It was the best outcome. However, Yemo also realized that the reason the first strike hadn't really injured the blue python was because he hadn't mastered it completely yet. If he could split it into 1,000 sword rays as soon as he used it, then there would have been no way the blue python could have gotten away. Yemo shook his head. It couldn't be reached simply by practice. It also required a strong spirit sense and cultivation essence. Even so, Yemo rejoiced. He felt that using the illusion cloud with Zisu was more powerful than before. He was sure that if he used it at golden core state, then the blue python would have been filled with holes and wouldn't have been able to move a single bit. The Lin blue fruit had gotten more and more aromatic. Yemo could tell that it was about to blossom. He took out 3 jade boxes and waited under the tree. It didn't take long until a fruit fell down. Yemo put it in the jade box. When the second one fell, Yemo did the same. When the third one was about to fall, 2 howls sounded. Yemo's spirit sense scanned 2 cultivators who had just arrived there. Yemo didn't care much at first, as the first guy was at Foundation Establishment State Tertiary Stage, but the other one was at Golden Core State. Yemo was shook. He was planning on taking the fruit for him, but he had no chance against a Golden Core State. Without thinking, Yemo took out his flying pike and immediately left. Yet before Yemo could leave, the Golden Core State cultivator stood before him. Yemo stopped and put away the flying pike. He couldn't run from a Golden Core State master. Moreover, that guy was at Golden Core State Level 4, which meant that he was at Golden Core State Middle Stage. Leave behind your storage ring and that chopping knife of yours. P*SS off. The Golden Core State cultivator said coldly. Yemo might have agreed if he had just asked for the 2 Lin blue fruits, but this guy had told him to leave behind his storage ring and sword. It would be like killing him in some way. He even saw a sliver of killing intent in the Golden Core State cultivator's eyes. Clearly, he was very careful, letting him drop his weapon first to then kill him. Yemo's eyes turned cold. He knew things weren't going to work out peacefully, so he held Zisu tightly and said, "Do you want to kill me and rob me?" The other Foundation Establishment State cultivator laughed. "Master, this guy is an idiot." The Golden Core State cultivator was dazed and laughed. "Yes, I'm not only going to rob you, but I kill you too." Then he immediately attacked. Yemo shot out the illusion cloud essence, binding strike. The purple ray with sword chi spread around the Golden Core State cultivator and formed a cultivation essence field. The Golden Core State man hadn't thought that Yemo would dare attack him first, so he was furious. He sneered, and his strong cultivation essence spread out. Yemo felt that his first strike had been slowed down and it couldn't be used to its full power. Yemo furiously exerted his cultivation essence. He had to use the first strike before he could use the second strike. When Yemo released all of his cultivation essence to activate the illusion cloud essence, binding strike, the Golden Core State cultivator realized his cultivation essence was not running quite smoothly, and the feeling was getting worse and worse. He frowned and pointed at him. Then, a beam of cultivation essence struck Yemo's blade screen. Crack! Yemo's chest bone immediately broke. The difference in power was too great. His first strike had only slowed down the Golden Core State cultivator's cultivation essence by a minor bit, and yet he had gotten injured because of that. Yi-Mo bit his lips and shot out the illusion cloud division strike. Yi-Mo had used his cultivation essence to the maximum. The sword ray was like lightning, flowing towards the golden core state cultivator from all directions and instantly turning into tens of rays from just one, which then turned into more than 100. The golden core state cultivator had been sealed off by the sword rays, which were still increasing. The cultivator's eyes narrowed. He hadn't thought a mere foundation establishment state cultivator could know such sword technique. His eyes immediately looked greedy. The next moment, his ring flashed and a rapier fell in his hands. The golden core state cultivator shook his hands lightly, and the sky got filled with sword light, completely covering Yi-Mo's sword rays. Pierce, pierce. Yi-Mo's sword rays had been stopped, and they couldn't multiply anymore. Thud! Yi-Mo was struck again and thrown in the air tens of meters. Yi-Mo spat a mouthful of blood, while the golden core state cultivator took a few steps back too. He had some gashes on him. However, after using his cultivation essence, these minor wounds disappeared immediately. He stared coldly at Yi-Mo, and his killing intent rose drastically. He hadn't thought that a mere foundation establishment state level 7 cultivator could injure him. It had never happened before. Despite the injuries being very minor, Yi-Mo's heart sunk. He realized he wasn't on the same level as that golden core state cultivator. Yi-Mo immediately grabbed Zisu and started running. He knew that if he kept fighting, he would die for sure. Shadowless was powerful, but facing a fully powered golden core state cultivator, Yi-Mo knew that Shadowless didn't stand a chance either. Are two trying to escape? The cultivator sneered and chased after him. Chapter 9:11. Join forces and ambush him. Chapter 9:11. Join forces and ambush him. Yi-Mo knew that the golden core state cultivator wasn't going to let him go. He ran for his life desperately while trying to think of a plan. A huge cave appeared before Yi-Mo. His spirit sense immediately saw the blue python he had fought not long ago. Without thinking, he charged inside. The golden core state cultivator saw this and sneered. He wasn't in a rush to kill Yi-Mo. Yi-Mo's sword technique was quite good, so he was going to think of a way to get that first. He could see the blue python as well. It was a level 4 peak beast, yet it didn't threaten him. The blue python saw Yi-Mo immediately and raised its head, hissing at him. Clearly it was warning Yi-Mo, but it also had some fear in its eyes. It couldn't understand. The python had ran away and given up the Lin blue fruit. Why had the human chased it there? Just when the animal was about to kick the human out of its cave, the human ignored it and went deeper inside. Before it could react, another human charged inside, and this human was even cockier. He attacked with his sword without hesitation. The blue python couldn't dodge it, and the sword pierced its stomach. The animal howled painfully, and its huge body fell on top of the golden core state cultivator. The cave was very big, but pebbles were flying everywhere. The golden core state cultivator sneered. A mere animal dared to act cocky in his face. His flying sword shot powerful cultivation essence. He was about to strike the blue python's head, and it was impossible for a level 4 beast to dodge it. But suddenly he felt something wasn't right. The foundation establishment state cultivator he was chasing wasn't in his spirit senses range anymore. When he realized this, his body went cold. The golden core state man immediately understood what had happened. The foundation establishment state cultivator was ambushing him. He was furious and tried to dodge it. However, he was too late. Countless sword chi whirlpools had entered his body and ravaged his meridians. The golden core state cultivator spat many mouthfuls of blood. He was instantly heavily injured. Not good. The golden core state master wanted to charge out of the blue python's cave immediately, but the blue python was furious. Its tail swept the golden core state, smashing him into the roof of the cave. As soon as the golden core state cultivator fell on the ground, He saw Yimo's purple sword charge at him again. He was scared now. He didn't understand how that mere foundation, establishment state, level 7 cultivator had managed to ambush him. Even if he hadn't kept his attention on this cultivator, he shouldn't have been able to avoid his spirit sense. Little did he know, Yimo could even fool the spirit sense of a hollow spirit state master, much less his. Yimo used the illusion cloud whirlpool strike with his full power. Rumble! Zisu and the golden core state cultivator's flying sword clashed, creating a huge explosion. The golden core state man was knocked out of the cave. The golden core state cultivator breathed at ease. As long as he got out, then no matter how heavy his injuries were, he could kill the foundation establishment state cultivator. Just when the golden core state cultivator was about to take a few pills, he felt like something had entered his body. Then, Yimo's Zisu brought a gust of purple death rays again. If he wanted to kick out Shadowless, he would have to face that endless sword ray. If he really got hit by that endless sword ray, then even a golden core state cultivator would be dead for sure. The golden core state cultivator had no choice but to send out his flying sword, planning to kill Yimo first before he dealt with Shadowless. Instantly, the golden core state cultivator's essence, blood, and meridians were devoured by Shadowless. If Yimo hadn't stopped it, Shadowless would have devoured the golden core master too. The golden core state cultivator made a terrifying cry of pain. His flying sword got smashed, and he was instantly torn into a bloody mist by the onslaught of sword rays. Yimo waved his hand, and a dark golden core landed in his hand. At the same time, a storage ring appeared too. Shadowless flew back to Yimo and growled at the golden core unhappily. Yimo breathed at ease. If the blue python hadn't helped him, he would have really been in danger. Yimo turned back to Blue Python and said, "Thanks for saving my life. This golden core is yours." Then he threw the golden core to the Blue Python. The Blue Python caught it with its mouth in joy. The human cultivator had actually given him such a good thing. It was a gift from the heavens. Yimo took a few medical pills and gave one to the Blue Python. "This is for you too, thanks." Then Yimo turned away to leave. He had to kill the other foundation establishment state cultivator. The Blue Python watched as Yimo left, still in disbelief that he gotten a golden core for no reason. Although its intelligence hadn't fully awakened yet, it understood that the human cultivator had not only helped him kill an enemy, but also given him a golden core. That foundation establishment state cultivator stood under the Lin Blue fruit tree waiting. He was confident that his master could kill Yimo easily. "I made you wait quite some time," Yimo's voice sounded. The foundation establishment state cultivator turned around. When he saw it was Yimo, his eyes opened widely, as though he was seeing the most unbelievable scene in his life. Where was his master? "Your master is waiting for you. You should hurry up." As soon as Yimo's voice sounded, he hacked with Zisu. Blux was spilled. The foundation establishment state man had gotten killed. Yimo took his storage bag and finally rested at ease. He didn't know where that cultivator came from. However, if he had an important background, he couldn't let news of him having killed him get out. Yimo rested for a while. He was planning on digging the tree out when 3 sword rays approached him. 3 cultivator landed nearby Yimo in rapid speed. Yimo noticed that there was no golden core state cultivator among them. It's the Lin fruit tree. One of the cultivators recognized the tree. He then looked at Yimo with joy and excitement. The fruit must have given him essence, blood. He's so lucky. Not only did he get a spot to come in, but he also saw the tree immediately. No, his luck isn't too good, because we've found him. Ha ha ha. Another cultivator continued. Yimo had recovered a great deal now, so he studied the 3 cultivators. He was surprised to find that he knew them. One was Boss He, another one was that bald man. He hadn't seen a single person in the desert. How come they were together? Yet then Yemo immediately realized that they must have had communication paper runes and formed a squad after they came in. Seeing the wounds on them, Yemo could tell that they hadn't found the desert easy to walk through. They had probably battled the scorpions. Yemo was impressed that they had managed to get the spots to come in. However, from their tone, Yemo could tell that they had been looking for him specially. How had they found him? Yemo immediately checked his clothes, but his expression soon turned really bad. Without him noticing, he had been marked with a spirit sense mark. Yemo realized at once that it must have been that bitter-looking golden core state cultivator in the line for the portal. Chapter 9:12. Angry but not daring to speak. Chapter 9:12. Angry but not daring to speak. It's you, punk! Boss, he then immediately looked at Yemo's storage ring. Kid, that chick outside liked minding other people's business, so you got away. This time, I want to see how you're going to get away. Then he chopped out with his axe. Yemo didn't answer, and just sent out sword rays with Zisu. He-Chong was at the false core state, so he was a far cry from true golden core state power. Even the blue python was stronger than He-Chong. He could only block 30% of Yemo's sword rays, as the remaining pierced his cultivation essence barrier. Arg! After a cry of pain, He-Chong's axe was sent flying, and the remaining sword rays penetrated his body, leaving behind a bloody mist. Yemo was dazed. He-Chong was a technically Foundation Establishment State, tertiary stage cultivator. Yes, but his false core state meant that he was actually a level higher than Yemo. Yet a guy like him died without even blocking one of his moves. Was he made of paper? Yemo shook his head and put away Zisu, seeing He-Chong fall to the ground with his eyes still wide open. Yemo took his storage bag and said coldly, "Actually, what you said was also what I wanted to say." Only then did the other two cultivators react. They were a little weaker than He-Chong, yet He-Chong couldn't even last a move against the Foundation Establishment State level 7 cultivator in front of them. Clearly they would be no match for Yemo even if they joined forces. The bald-headed cultivator had finally understood why the cultivator in front of him had asked if you could kill as you please before they came in. That was because he had wanted to kill him and He-Chong all along. Yet he and the people around thought this guy was dumb. He opened his mouth and wanted to say something, but Yemo didn't have the mood to keep wasting time with them. Countless purple rays flashed across, and the bald man and the other cultivator were sliced into pieces without resistance. Yemo took their storage bags and then dug up the Lin blue fruit tree and sent it into his golden page world. After cleaning up the marks here, Yemo found a quiet place nearby and dug a cultivation home to recover. A day later, Yemo had fully recovered. He took a bath and changed all of his clothes. The golden core state cultivator with a bitter expression would know for sure that Yemo had killed He-Chong and company. And Yemo couldn't beat the bitter-faced fellow as of yet. Yemo quickly organized the storage bags he had gained from the hoodlums, but they didn't have anything good, only some low-grade pills and middle-grade spirit stones. However, that golden core state cultivator did have hundreds of thousands of top-grade spirit stones and 2 million middle-grade spirit stones. The pills he had were also at a higher level. However, what made Yemo the happiest was that he found an extreme-grade spirit stone in there too. This was the first time Yemo saw an extreme-grade spirit stone, and as expects, it was very pretty. It looked natural and emitted strong spirit chi. Yemo put away the spirit stones and then took out a jade card that had the words Demon Spirit Sect, and the word Su was marked on it. It seemed the golden core state came from the Demon Spirit Sect. Yemo didn't care and dumped everything into the golden page world. Then Yemo took out a Zhou Huan flower and made a few bottles of the clear essence oil before leaving his cultivation home. He had realized once again that his power was too weak. Any golden core state could take his life. There should be tons of golden core states in the Herbal Valley. And so Yemo decided to find a place with adequate spirit chi and cultivate for a month first. It was important to find herbs, but his life was the most important. Yemo collected whatever herbs he could find around before stepping on Zisu and leaving the area. Rumble, a few 100 kilometers away, Yemo heard a deep explosion and subconsciously looked in that direction. A few more rumbles sounded. There seemed to be someone attacking some formation. Yemo saw multiple sword rays and traveled in that direction. It wasn't long until Yemo came before an ancient, round building. There were many cultivators gathered before it, at least 30. There were about 10 golden core state cultivators among them. This ancient structure was protected by a very strong restriction. Yemo didn't know why these people wanted to break this defensive restriction. Was this some ancient cultivator ruin? It's a spirit marrow ruin! Another golden core state flew over and called out in joy after seeing the structure. As Yemo heard this, his heart started beating rapidly. He knew spirit marrow all too well. It was the most easily digested spirit item for cultivators. With spirit marrow, they wouldn't even need to cultivate, they just had to put it on their hand, and it would be automatically digested. This place was a spirit marrow pond, so if he could go in to cultivate, he would be able to reach foundation establishment state peak in less than half a month. With that, he could form his golden core at any time. If he became a golden core cultivator, he wouldn't need to be concerned by other golden core states. Yemo's eyes lit up. He had to get in this spirit marrow pond, no matter what. All the cultivators here looked fervent, though. Who didn't want to go in there? A golden core state stopped the people attacking the restriction and stood high up in the air. Everyone, the spirit marrow pond is a treasure of this world, and everyone wants to go cultivate in it. But there are so many people here. It would be unfair if everyone went in. So I suggest that everyone attack the restriction here together. But after breaking the restriction, foundation establishment state cultivators can only cultivate for a day. No foundation establishment state cultivator dared to rebuke this. Yemo was angry, but he didn't dare say anything. Even if the golden core state told them to leave immediately, he wouldn't be able to do anything. This golden core state cultivator was already at golden core state level 7. That was the golden core state tertiary stage. It would be all too easy for him to kill him. No matter what, Yemo soon joined the attack on the restriction. One day was better than nothing. 15 minutes later, the restriction shook and rumbled. The round-shaped structure gradually became clear. Everyone knew that the restriction had been broken. All cultivators charged inside, and Yemo squeezed into the crowd too. Yemo saw that this was a huge spirit marrow pond. They didn't even have to go into the pond to feel the surrounding spirit chi be so dense that it made people want to moan in comfort. This pond could fit even 300 people, much less 30. There were even crystals around the rim of the pond. A foundation establishment state saw this and couldn't help but charge over. But as soon as he got there, a white light flashed, and that foundation establishment state cultivator immediately fell to the ground, while his head flew away. One golden core state cultivator took back his flying sword and said, "Foundation establishment state gets no spirit crystals. Golden core state gets them based on their level. Level 1 gets 1, level 2 gets 2. This golden core state cultivator was a golden core state level 9 expert, so no one dared to object to him. Chapter 9:13. Who took the spirit marrow? Chapter 9:13. Who took the spirit marrow? Okay, now all of you go cultivate first. But foundation establishment state cultivators leave after a day or deal with the consequences. The golden core level 7 cultivator warned coldly. Yemo knew that it would be impossible to steal any spirit crystals with his power, so he just sat down in the spirit marrow pond like the other foundation establishment state levels. Yemo didn't use the three-birth chant because he knew that it would cause too much commotion and consume too much of the spirit marrow. He just used an ordinary cultivation method and slowly consumed the spirit marrow. Yi Mo saw that all the other cultivators started to begin cultivation, and he started scheming for the pond. He wanted to send it into his golden page world and then find a safe place to cultivate later. Yi Mo sat in the spirit marrow pond and slowly started pouring the spirit marrow inside his golden page world. He was very slow to avoid being caught. 2 hours later, Yi Mo found that the spirit marrow had formed a small pond in his golden page world and rejoiced. This would be much better than cultivating there for a mere day. Cultivators soon started to spontaneously break through in the spirit marrow pond. 3 golden core state cultivators ascended a small level, and 4 foundation establishment states ascended a whole level. 1 golden core state cultivator went from level 6 to level 7. It was only half a day, yet this many people broke through. The spirit marrow was too good for cultivators. This incited people to consume the spirit marrow like crazy. Yi Mo opened up his eyes casually and saw that almost everyone was cultivating in the pond and no one cared about him. Since that was the case, Yi Mo started to take in the spirit well a bit faster. Half a day later, Yi Mo suddenly realized that he had taken more than half of the spirit marrow pond. He was shook and immediately stopped. Yi Mo felt he had been a little too greedy. He could only hope that the people present were too focused on cultivating to notice him. But obviously, that wasn't going to happen. The golden core state peak stage cultivator realized what had happened and got up from the spirit pond roaring, "Who is it? Get up now." No one but Yi Mo knew what he meant. At this moment, everyone in the spirit pond stopped cultivating. That's when they realized that more than half of the spirit marrow was missing. Yi Mo was preparing to run away, but at this time 4 other golden core states walked inside the ancient structure. The leading golden core state saw the scene and couldn't help but exclaim, "A spirit marrow pond! It really is." He charged inside without hesitation. As the golden core state peak stage cultivator saw this, his face sunk. Just when Yi Mo hoped that Guy would reproach the newcomers so that he could find an opportunity to escape, he realized that the golden core state peak stage had no intentions of doing so. As he saw the golden core state peak stage cultivator skin everyone in the pond, Yi Mo got an idea. He got up and said shakily, "For Qianbei, the spirit marrow pond shares have been decided on by the Qianbei deeper inside. Since you guys came later, shouldn't you ask that Qianbei dash? What, a mere foundation establishment state cultivator like you dare stop me?" The golden core state cultivator's eyes went cold. However, he didn't attack. He didn't know if Yi Mo had company. There were 20 golden core state cultivators there, after all. No, I wouldn't dare stop Qianbei. I'm just saying. Yi Mo carefully looked at the golden core state cultivators inside the pond, clearly hoping that one of them would speak for him. However, no one was willing to do so. The golden core state who had just arrived saw that Yi Mo had no support and said coldly, "P*** Sof, I will take your spot." Yes. Yi Mo quickly moved to the side. He was instigating a conflict on purpose. If that golden core state peak stage still did nothing, then it was his bad luck. Everyone could tell Yi Mo was sucking up to the golden core state peak stage to try to stay longer, but they all just looked at Yi Mo contemptuously. As soon as Yi Mo moved away, the golden core state peak stage set aside the missing spirit marrow issue and said coldly to the 4 new arrivers, "Friends, we found this spirit marrow pond and arduously broke the restriction ourselves. Are you just going to take it?" There were 2 golden core state tertiary stages and 2 middle stages, and when they heard this, they all stood up together. The golden core state peak stage saw that no one wanted to help him and felt very uncomfortable. He glanced at the Foundation Establishment State cultivators inside the pond and said, "The Foundation Establishment States will stop now. Get out." Yi-Mo saw a scared-looking Foundation Establishment State run outside and followed immediately. Seeing this, the remaining Foundation Establishment State cultivators didn't dare talk and all went out. But they didn't leave. Yi-Mo stayed in the crowd and didn't leave either. He knew he couldn't leave now. The Golden Core State Peak Stage saw that all the Foundation Establishment States went out but none left, so he felt easy. To him, the most important thing was the missing spirit marrow, not the newcomers. However, since the 4 newcomers weren't saying anything, they clearly did want to take the spirit marrow. So he decided to deal with them first before looking for the missing spirit marrow. If no one here has anything to do with the missing spirit marrow, I invite you to come to my side. The Golden Core State Peak Stage saluted with his fists as he spoke up. Hearing this, the remaining Golden Core State cultivators all got up and stood by his side, facing off against the 4 newcomers. Ashfor saw that they had to face more than 10 Golden Core States. They were dumbfounded. The strongest one of them quickly saluted with his fists. "We can talk this trough. We're willing to just stay for 3 days and leave." However, he was thinking that 3 days later, he would spread the news out no matter what and get everyone who was close to come. The Golden Core State Peak Stage nodded and didn't say anything further. He was still wondering how someone could take away so much spirit marrow in such a short time. This person must have a powerful magic artifact. It might even be a cultivation level artifact. "We don't know who took the spirit marrow, but I'm sure he's amongst us," the Golden Core State said coldly. He believed it had to have been a Golden Core State cultivator who did it. "But how do we find out who took it?" another Golden Core State tertiary stage asked. Clearly, no one would admit or let people check their storage ring. The Golden Core State Peak Stage sneered, "Simple, I have a level 8 test spirit rune. It's no use to me, so I will use it now. Those who are willing to be tested by the rune, please stand out. At the same time, however, the extra 2 crystals need to be given to me. After all, a level 8 rune is still worth a fortune." No one spoke, as everyone tacitly agreed. In reality, it might be a level 8 rune, yes, but its use was actually very limited. It could only test cultivators below the nascent soul state. And even then, the accuracy wasn't 100%. The rune wasn't even worth 1 crystal. "I'll start with the Foundation Establishment State cultivators," the Golden Core State Peak Stage cultivator suddenly stated. Chapter 914, Ascending Like Crazy. Chapter 914. Ascending like crazy, he suddenly stopped because he realized that there seemed to be one person missing from the Foundation Establishment State group. It was that timid-looking fellow who tried to suck up. He had been tricked. The Golden Core State Peak Stage cultivator immediately understood what had happened. A mere Foundation Establishment State level 7 insect had dared to trick him? His face turned green immediately. Yi-Mo left the round structure carefully while the Golden Core State Peak Stage was talking to the 4 Golden Core States. His 3-birth chant was put to good use again. No one realized he left. Still, the main reason for that was that everyone's attention was focused on the spirit marrow pond. Yi-Mo immediately flew away a few kilometers and came to a barren mountain. Then he used earth travel to go underground. Immediately, he went into the Golden Page world. When he saw the large pond of spirit marrow in front of him, he was overjoyed. He was rich, really rich this time. Yi-Mo immediately charged into the spirit marrow pond and started cultivating wholeheartedly. The spirit energy didn't even need to be converted as it became his cultivation essence, and his meridians opened up effortlessly. Yi-Mo knew his risk had paid off. Even though his power was ascending rapidly, Yi-Mo didn't stop to control its stability. His weak power just made him feel too uncomfortable. He even ate a clear essence pill and a Lin blue fruit. With this, The three-birth chant showed its true power. Yemo could clearly feel his power rise drastically. Half a day later, Yemo felt the depth of his meridians hurt and then crack. His cultivation essence immediately became denser, and the strong feeling that ensued made Yemo knew that he had reached Foundation Establishment State Level 8. Yemo then immediately ate another clear essence pill and stayed inside. Yemo entered a state of deep cultivation, forgetting everything but cultivation. When the last meridians were opened and all the meridians in his body connected, Yemo felt himself become lighter. He couldn't help but get up and howl. He knew he had reached Foundation Establishment State Level 9, but Yemo still stayed inside to keep cultivating. Foundation Establishment State Peak Stage. Yemo still didn't stop. Yemo knew that he could go for Golden Core State now, but he still wanted to first consolidate his power. Yemo knew that his power had risen too quickly recently, so before he consolidated his cultivation, he couldn't attempt to break through to the Golden Core State. Meanwhile, Yemo ate a few stalagmite benefit pills. He had eaten too many pills lately, and so he needed to remedy the pill poison in his body before he charged for the Golden Core State as well. As all the poison was removed, his Foundation Establishment State Peak Stage power was consolidated. Yemo thought about many things. He had only transmigrated for a bit over 10 years, yet he was about to reach the Golden Core State. At this moment, he thought about Luoying, Qingxue, Shaoyin, Yimo, Yanzhu, Yiling, and even Yi Zifeng and Luoyu City. These thoughts flashed across his head and further consolidated his will to reach the peak as soon as possible and find them all. It was due to this thought that he stopped his impulse to break through to the Golden Core State. If he tried that now, he might not succeed, which wouldn't be good for his future. Yemo decided to use the remaining 2.5 months in the valley to battle and stabilize his power. Once he was fully used to the Foundation Establishment State Peak Stage power, then he could attempt to reach the Golden Core State. Yemo knew that with 1 or 2 years of consolidation, his foundation would be very solid, but he didn't have that much time. Another important point was that the Golden Page world wasn't very complete as of yet. He could break through to the Golden Core State, but it was better to do it outside in the complete world. Yemo came out of the Golden Page world and went to the ground level. He took out 9 transformations and put it on his face. He was sure that Tong Dark Face and Sima White Face wouldn't be inside the valley, so he didn't have to worry. Yemo had to wear it in case he saw that Golden Core State Peak Stage again. Yemo looked around. He wanted to know what had happened to that spirit marrow pond. He knew that he couldn't get any spirit crystals, even if he went back, but he still desired them greatly. Yemo was at the Foundation Establishment State Peak Stage now, and more than twice as strong as he was before. Perhaps if he faced that Golden Core State Level 4 guy again, he wouldn't have to rely on the blue python to escape. Yemo was sure that he could fight against someone at the Golden Core State Levels 1 to Level 3 as long as they weren't some geniuses. Yemo was much more careful this time heading back. However, Yemo was clearly worrying too much. When he arrived, the place was a mess. There were multiple bodies laying around. As for the pond, there wasn't even any jade left, much less spirit marrow and spirit crystal. An intense battle had clearly taken place there. Yemo didn't stay and left as quickly as he could. By now, Yemo realized that this desert plain herb valley was surrounded by the desert and the precious herbs were all near the center. However, Yemo didn't walk towards the center and walked towards the desert instead. He needed battle, and there were plenty of scorpion beasts in the desert. It was the best battleground. As soon as Yemo came to the desert, he was surrounded by multiple level 3 earth scorpions. This was no challenge to Yemo at all anymore. Zisu flashed, and these Foundation Establishment State primary stage equivalent beasts were taken care of in a flash. At the start, Yemo had to swing Zisu to kill, but after a while he found that his sword ray seemed to have a little intelligence. Yemo hence immersed himself in his Zisu sword ray. He had a feeling that once he completely controlled the intelligence of his sword ray, his illusion cloud sword would develop its fourth strike. Chapter 9:15. Illusion Cloud Exert will strike. Chapter 9:15. Illusion Cloud Exert will strike amidst the endless slaughter. Yemo didn't realize he had been surrounded by more than thousands of earth scorpions. He was killing them purely based on instinct. He killed wave after wave. If someone stood in the air right now, they would see endless earth scorpions flooding towards one person. But that wave of monsters was stopped by some power in the center, unable to flood the person in the middle. In the end, Yemo closed his eyes completely and just controlled his sword rays based on his sense for danger. The intelligence in the sword rays grew. He kept on attacking with sword rays to unearth that intelligence. Each time a scorpion attacked, it would be blocked by his sword rays and then create a mist of blood. But even then, there were too many scorpions, and some made it through and injured him. But the attacks that got through were the weakest. Yemo sensed the dangerous attacks, and a sword ray would block them immediately. In the end, a sword ray barrier formed around his body. Every time his cultivation essence was about to run dry, he would eat multiple essence, recovery pills, and spirit containment pills. He had prepared countless pills for the Herb Valley battles. As for pill poison, he didn't have to worry about that. Before this, his illusion cloud division strike could separate into countless sword rays already, but he couldn't control them. Now, as he slaughtered the scorpions, he gradually found that sliver of intelligence. He wasn't going to stop now out of fear that he wouldn't feel that intelligence again if he did. A few cultivators flew over the desert on their flying swords, and there was even one golden core state among them. When they saw an endless wave of earth scorpions rush towards one cultivator, however, they were shook and left as quickly as possible. Even golden core states would be dead for sure if they were surrounded by countless level 3 earth scorpions. Moreover, there were level 4 scorpions approaching from the periphery too. Yemo could feel the scorpion threat get stronger and stronger, but he still didn't open his eyes. Zisu kept sending out sword rays, and he could feel that he could control more and more of them. Clink! Zisu suddenly shook, and the sword ray Yemo had been controlling suddenly scattered, becoming a mess. The next moment, Yemo felt pain on his chest, and an extreme sense of danger overcame him. That danger even invoked the fear of being killed in Yemo. He subconsciously gathered all of the sword rays together and attacked the direction from where the dangerous feeling came. At the same time, he opened his eyes. Yemo had never expected that, in a rush, he would actually manage to control most of his sword rays together. Before he could rejoice, his sword rays clashed with something, and Yemo was sent flying. A level 3 beast was smashed away too. Yemo once again felt that extreme pain as he spat some blood and gathered all the cultivation essence in his body to protect him. At this moment, Yemo finally took a close look at his surroundings, and he was shook. A 100-meter area around him was full of earth scorpion bodies, and there were countless more earth scorpions coming from a few miles away. The bodies were piled up to form a small hill already, and there were even some level 4 bodies among them. Yemo examined his state. He was covered in blood and wounds, and there was a gash on his chest that was deep to the bone. Clearly, that was the result of the danger he had sensed. Yemo immediately noticed the huge earth scorpion in front of him. It was much bigger than other earth scorpions. It glared at him with cold eyes. This was a level 5 earth scorpion, a level 5 middle stage earth scorpion. Yemo suddenly became excited. He had survived under the furious attack of a level 5 earth scorpion. This level 5 middle stage beast was equivalent to a golden core state middle stage human cultivator. Yemo didn't know how much time he had spent in this carnage, but he knew that his power had increased a level again. Yi-Emo suddenly remembered that last strike of his where the sword rays had become intelligent. That strike had blocked the level 5 beast's lethal blow. If it hadn't, Yi-Emo subconsciously raised Zisu, and the blade quivered as a sword ray rolled around it according to his will. It seemed like it was intelligent, and only finally disappeared after a long while. After finally mastering this move, Yi-Emo was shaking with excitement. The reason the sword ray disappeared was because he didn't have enough cultivation essence. One day, when he was strong enough, he would be able to control countless sword rays according to his will. Was this controlling the sword with one's will? Sword will. Yi-Emo didn't know sword will, but this sword ability of his was something he had created himself based on another sword ability. Yi-Emo realized that he had finally created the illusion cloud's fourth strike. "I'll call it the illusion cloud exert will strike," Yi-Emo proclaimed as he clenched Zisu. His battle will sword, and he prepared to face the level 5 beast. All he wanted now was to fight the level 5 beast in front of him. He ignored the fact that he was full of injuries and surrounded by countless earth scorpions. The earth scorpions saw Yi-Emo casually shake out a few sword rays and looked concerned. It was level 5 and had some level of intelligence. It could tell that Yi-Emo was full of battle will. When Yi-Emo's battle will climaxed, the level 5 beast shrieked, and hearing this, the endless scorpion flood left. Yi-Emo looked at the ground full of bodies in a daze and felt uncomfortable. It was like he had been ready and prepared, yet his opponent suddenly ran away. But soon, Yi-Emo calmed himself. Even if he needed opponents, it didn't have to be earth scorpions. Yi-Emo checked his storage ring, and he found that he had used up almost all of his recovery pills. He had prepared them for a long time. He estimated that he had spent about half a month fighting the beasts, so now he could go collect herbs. He ate a few stalagmite benefit pills and a few antidote pills to force out the poison from the scorpion stingers. Then he took off 9 transformations and started digging out the scorpion stingers and beast cores. Yi-Emo believed that if he met that golden core state peak stage cultivator now, he should be able to run away from him. It was best not to use 9 transformations. There were too many bodies on the ground, so Yi-Emo just harvested the level 4 ones. 2 hours later, Yi-Emo got up and was planning to leave. He had gotten about a few hundred level 4 earth scorpion beast cores and stingers. This was a fortune to him. But just when Yi-Emo got up, he heard the sound of flying swords slicing through the air. Usually, cultivators could adapt the angle or use some other means to mute the flying noise. Yet there was this sound now. Clearly, someone was running away at full speed. Yi-Emo soon indeed saw 3 cultivators rushing over. One was running away at the front, while 2 were chasing from behind. Chapter 9:16. Battling a Golden Core State Again. Chapter 9:16. Battling a Golden Core State Again. The one running away was a female cultivator. Yi-Emo scanned her with his spirit sense and recognized who she was. She was Guang Wei, a core sect member of the Immortal Herb Valley and a top 20 ranker of the Pill Concoction Hall of Fame. She was at the Golden Core State, level 1. She had even ridiculed him a little for entering the valley with his current power. At this moment, her hair was covering her face, and her clothes were torn. Her snow-white skin was covered in blood. Someone dared kill a core sect member of the Immortal Herb Valley here? Yi-Emo knew that the sect had quite a high status in the North Far State. So even if someone were to attack their sect member, they wouldn't dare to do it so overtly. Guang Wei clearly saw the cultivator amongst the bodies and charged over to Yi-Emo in joy. "Dao friend, I'm Immortal Herb Valley's Guang Wei. I'm Dash." But when she reached Yi-Emo, she stopped talking. Her face looked bad as she had recognized Emo, the level 7 Foundation Establishment State Cultivator. She didn't know why Emo was there, but Emo was heavily injured too. Even if he weren't, he wouldn't be able to save her life. But Guang Wei knew getting on her flying sword again was no option either, as her 2 pursuers had sealed off her escape. "What are you doing here?" Guang Wei was very annoyed. If Emo wasn't there, she wouldn't have come down to ask for help. She could have kept running. In actuality, she did know that she was being unreasonable, though. She would have been caught eventually anyways. "Why can't I be doing something here?" Emo asked calmly, while studying the 2 cultivators in pursuit. It was one golden core state level 4 cultivator and one at level 3. Guang Wei could indeed only run from them. Guang Wei calmed down and said apologetically, "They're not from the North Far State. I have brought trouble onto you." Guang Wei sighed. Not from the North Far State? No wonder they dared to hunt down an immortal Herb Valley disciple then. Foundation Establishment State, Wanbei? Ha ha ha. The Golden Core State Level 3 saw that Emo only had Foundation Establishment State power and immediately laughed. Guang Wei's face went red. She threw over a dark yellow herb and said, "It's yours. This has nothing to do with him." The Golden Core State Level 4 took the herb and looked contemptuously at Emo, speaking coldly. "You want me to let this insect go?" "It isn't impossible. If you give me your virginity, that is." Guang Wei's face went red, and she was about to fight immediately, but Emo's following words stopped her impulse. "Yellow 3-leaf?" Emo became excited, staring at the herb. The Neen by Pill's main ingredient was the yellow 3-leaf, and the Neen by Pill was the most important pill for Golden Core State cultivators. "I'll take this yellow 3-leaf." Emo looked coldly at the level 4 Golden Core State and spoke up solemnly. When Emo said this, the 2 Golden Core States as well as Guang Wei were dazed. 2 breaths later, the 2 Golden Core States laughed out loud. If Guang Wei weren't in danger, she would want to laugh too. A mere Foundation Establishment State dared to say to a Golden Core State middle stage that he would take what was in his hands. "I wanted to kill you later, but I see you're asking to die now. Insect, I want to see how you're going to take this yellow 3-leaf." The Golden Core State Level 4 uttered as his flying sword quickly surrounded Emo with sword light. He wanted to cut Emo's limbs off and let Emo watch as he dual cultivated with this female cultivator before killing him. Guang Wei saw this and took out her flying sword, wanting to stop it, but the Golden Core State Level 3 stopped Guang Wei. What the Golden Core State middle stage fellow didn't expect was that as soon as his flying sword was about to attack, the Foundation Establishment State insect took out his kitchen chopping knife and chopped over at him. He was furious. A Foundation Establishment State cultivator dared to attack him? He wanted to use his cultivation essence field to bind the insect, but what shook him then was that his cultivation essence was bound first. This was the second time Emo used the illusion cloud essence binding strike against a Golden Core State. The first time it didn't even stop the person for half a breath. Now he was inestimably closer to the Golden Core State, so he was really curious to see how strong it was now. The purple sword ray instantly bound the Golden Core State fellow. But soon, Emo felt that it would still only last for 2 breaths. Hence, he used the illusion cloud division strike immediately. Instantly, countless purple sword rays were struck out. By the time the Golden Core State broke free, Emo had about a few hundred sword rays ready for him. The Golden Core State sweated cold from this and conjured a blue shield. Crack! Countless strikes struck the shield. The shield blocked 90% of the sword rays, but some still got through and went into the Golden Core State's body, injuring him. The Golden Core State middle stage cultivator was immediately furious. Due to his underestimation, he had gotten injured by a Foundation Establishment State insect. Now he didn't hold back anymore. He raised his two hands, and 4 different colored swords were sent out. They formed the word Wang and completely covered Yi Mo ed note. Wang equals king. Guang Wei was stopped by the Golden Core State Level 3, but when she saw that Yi Mo was capable of injuring the Golden Core State Level 4 cultivator, she was shook. She really couldn't imagine how a Foundation Establishment State Level 7 could injure a Golden Core State cultivator. Having crossed the bridge between the Foundation Establishment State and the Golden Core State, she knew how big of a difference it was. Usually, the first-placed Foundation Establishment Hall of Fame ranker was no match for an ordinary Golden Core State Level 1 cultivator. Yet, Yi Mo had injured a Golden Core State middle stage opponent with Foundation Establishment State power. This exceeded her comprehension. But when she saw the Wang attack, she began to worry. She knew how powerful it was. Martial brother Chuanwu of the God Sword sect had lost to this move. It was this cultivator's killing blow. This Li Chuanwu was at Golden Core State Level 4 and came from the God Sword sect, so he was much stronger than ordinary Golden Core States. Yet even he was no match for this move. Meanwhile, Yi Mo was only at the Foundation Establishment State. She didn't dare to think further than that. And as soon as the move was used, Yi Mo indeed felt an extreme sense of danger. The 4 swords had different colored sword rays, and when the Golden Core State activated them, it was like a vibrant fireworks display. But Yi Mo felt that the sword rays could follow him everywhere. If he wasn't careful, the move would tear him apart. Perhaps 1 or 2 would only injure him, but when all the swords joined together, he would be torn apart for sure. It was like his 3-birth sword ray. Yi Mo didn't dare to hesitate and closed his eyes. Zisu rumbled, and countless purple sword rays appeared like a flower festival. These sword rays seemed to have eyes of their own as they followed the vibrant sword light. Chapter 9:17 Yi Mo's Tactic? Chapter 9:17 Yi Mo's tactic. Guang Wei and the Golden Core State Level 3 cultivator were dumbfounded. Yi Mo was stopping the full-powered attack of a Golden Core State Level 4 as a Foundation Establishment State cultivator. They even forgot to fight and just stared at Yi Mo's fight. Meanwhile, the Golden Core State Level 4 cultivator was the most shocked. He could feel that Yi Mo wouldn't last long, but he still couldn't help feeling shocked. He had found the Wang 4 swords in an ancient ruin and had beaten countless people with this sword ability. Yet it was stopped by a small Foundation Establishment State cultivator. If he hadn't used this full-strength attack due to his rage, he would be the one on the lower hand of this battle by now. He didn't know who this Foundation Establishment State cultivator was, but his sword ray seemed to be alive, as if it would block every single one of his sword rays. If it wasn't that this Foundation Establishment State cultivator's cultivation essence was far weaker than his Wang for swords wouldn't be able to suppress him. He had never seen a Foundation Establishment State cultivator this strong, nor had he heard of one. Compared to him, the Foundation Establishment State Hall of Fame #1 was nothing. Yi Mo's power rendered him full of killing intent. He had to kill such an overpowered cultivator before he was strong, or there would be endless trouble for him in the future. Thinking about this, the Golden Core State added more cultivation essence to his attack, and the sword rays shone even brighter. Yi Mo was already struggling to block the move, and now he finally couldn't help spitting 2 mouthfuls of blood. He sighed. It would seem he was being a bit too cocky still. He thought he could take on Golden Core State middle stage cultivators, having reached the Foundation Establishment State peak stage and having created the illusion cloud exert will strike. But now it seemed there was still a huge difference. When Yi Mo saw the Golden Core State was about to take something out, he got even more desperate. He wanted to take out a few attack runes too, but he couldn't. Seeing Guang Wei watch on the side, Yi Mo was furious. He cursed. Dumb girl, hurry up and kill the other dude and come help me. Guang Wei was dazed. She didn't expect that Yi Mo would dare to insult her. If she could kill this Golden Core State Level 3, she would have long since killed him, right? But she saw that Yi Mo was about to lose and knew that that was their only way out. If she didn't kill the Golden Core State Level 3 cultivator, she would be dying along with Yi Mo thinking about this. Guang Wei sent her flying sword out and attacked the Golden Core State Level 3. He was stronger than Guang Wei by a little, and the two fought a close battle. This time, Guang Wei was very desperate. She temporarily held the upper hand. After all, Golden Core State Level 1 and 3 was both the same primary stage. Once Guang Wei exerted her cultivation essence, though, she would be defeated for sure. Thus, the Golden Core State Level 3 just patiently held Guang Wei in place. Guang Wei sighed. She wasn't dumb, and she could tell there was no other way anymore. She attacked with her full might and didn't even bother with defense. The Golden Core State Level 3 had a sneer of contempt on his face, and he knew his opportunity was near. This woman wasn't as good as the one who had been with her, but she was still pretty. She would make for some good fun in this place. Guang Wei saw the Golden Core State keep staring at her body and couldn't help but get angrier. She made up her mind that even if she was to die, she wouldn't let the two jerks do what they wanted. When Guang Wei sent her flying sword piercing at the Golden Core State's eyes like crazy, the Golden Core State suddenly seemed dazed. His eyes were then filled with disbelief, as he hadn't noticed Guang Wei's flying sword pierce his eyes at all. Guang Wei was also stunned. She didn't expect to actually succeed right when she was about to give up. Her Golden Core State Level 3 opponent hadn't dodged at all and let her pierce him. Guang Wei was dazed for a moment, but quickly realized that this was a good opportunity. No matter what, she couldn't let this guy live. Immediately, her flying sword sliced off the man's head. Guang Wei was overcome with disbelief at being able to kill the man. As soon as the man fell down, Yi Mo spat more blood, and his purple sword ray became Messier. The next moment, a few sword rays pierced his shoulders. Yi Mo ate a few more recovery pills. He knew he had succeeded halfway. The Golden Core State Level 4 attacker in front of him was too strong. Even if he took out Shadowless, it would be of no use. He needed Guang Wei's help. So he used Shadowless to help Guang Wei kill the other guy. However, he got injured more due to splitting his spirit sense. Guang Wei was surprised, but when she saw what happened to Yi Mo without thinking, she charged at the Golden Core State Level 4 with her flying sword. At this moment, the Golden Core State took out a paper rune. Clearly, he was unhappy with having to fight Yi Mo for so long. It was already embarrassing that he had to use his killing blow to suppress Yi Mo and then runes to kill him. But he didn't care about what it would cost him at all anymore. He would only rest easy after this foundation establishment state died. But when he took out the rune, he saw Guang Wei kill his friend. Before he could check how that was possible, Guang Wei was already attacking him. Without a thought, he threw the rune at Guang Wei, even though he had been planning on using it against Yi Mo. He grew more careful once again, though. Did she too have some unknown means that she hadn't used before yet? Otherwise, how could she kill a cultivator 2 levels higher than her so quickly? The rune exploded in front of Guang Wei, and Guang Wei could only put up a cultivation essence barrier. But even with that, she was immediately burned by the rune. Her hair turned into a crisp, and she didn't have a single bit of clothes left on her. Meanwhile, Yi Mo used this chance to take out his own runes. They were his battle loot, but he threw them at the cultivator without hesitating. At the same time, he told Guang Wei to hurry up and attack. Rumble, rumble. The runes Yi Mo threw out were fireball runes, huge boulder runes, and ice shard runes. They were all level 4 and 5. So they were weak against Golden Core State cultivators, but their quantity could make up for that. While the Golden Core State was busy with that, Yemo controlled Shadowless to move below the Golden Core State. Guang Wei really wanted to change into a new pair of clothes, but she knew that this was a crucial moment and that she couldn't waste a single second. So Guang Wei chose the right moment and sent out her flying sword. With Guang Wei joining him, the pressure on Yemo was reduced greatly. Zisu's sword ray instantly broke through the sword ray lockdown, and the Golden Core State was cut many times over. Yemo then sent out a few hundred more sword rays, and the illusion cloud, whirlpool strike. All he had needed was an opportunity, and with Guang Wei there, he got it. The Golden Core State had thought that the purple sword ray was Yemo's strongest move, so when he saw the spinning whirlpool sword rays, he was shocked once again. What sword ability was this? He knew he had to run. If those two joined forces, he would be a dead man for sure. Just when he had such a thought, he felt a little pain in his meridians, as though something had crawled in. Before he could check it, the Foundation Establishment State Cultivator's sword rays covered the heavens and earth as they charged straight at him. Chapter 918. Agreeing to help? Chapter 918. Agreeing to help this Golden Core State cultivator was different from other cultivators. The first thing he did was to force out Shadowless. However, he underestimated Yemo's illusion cloud, whirlpool strike. He thought his Foundation Establishment State opponent was already very strong. But no matter what, since he could suppress him for so long, he would be able to do so for a bit longer. But as soon as he forced out Shadowless, he was sliced up by the countless purple sword rays. Despair filled the cultivator's eyes. He was killed by a Foundation Establishment State insect. Guang Wei looked in a daze at the sky, filled with sword rays that sliced a Golden Core State level 4 to pieces. She forgot that the first thing she should be doing right now was changing clothes. She immediately realized that the Golden Core State level 4 cultivator had also seemed distracted before he was killed. Did you help me kill that Golden Core State too? Guang Wei reacted and asked. Yemo scanned her and said plainly, I think what you should care about now is changing into some clothes. Then Yemo took the level 4's ring and sat down, starting to recover. Guang Wei just realized that she didn't have any clothes on. She was very embarrassed. Just when she wanted to tell Yemo not to look, he had already turned his back to her. Without thinking, Guang Wei casted a simple barrier and went inside it, washing herself with a water spell before changing into a set of clothes. When Guang Wei came out, Yemo was already standing up. He was covered in blood, and Guang Wei couldn't see the state of his injuries. I will be going, goodbye. Yemo turned to leave. He had been fighting all these days and felt that it was time for him to form his core. He didn't want to be with Guang Wei while doing that. Guang Wei reacted and immediately remembered why she was being hunted. She said desperately, Yemo, please save my martial sister Mushi now. She's trapped by cultivators from the South Peace State. Yemo studied Guang Wei in surprise and said after a long while, You want a Foundation Establishment State cultivator to beat the Golden Core State cultivators trapping your martial sister and save her from them? Guang Wei said desperately, Yemo, you can do it for sure. You're capable of killing that Luo guy. Your power is no weaker than Golden Core State. With me, we should be able to help. You must go help. Remember, before you came in, Mushin helped you dash. Yemo smiled. Helped me? Do you think I needed help? In fact, Yemo paused and studied Guang Wei before saying slowly, In fact, it's not a good idea for you to come in here. If I were you, I would stay at home to concoct some pills. Guang Wei heard this and blushed. Actually, Yemo didn't plan on not helping. After all, Qin Mushin did want to help him before. But after fighting with that Golden Core State level 4 cultivator, Yemo again realized that his power was nothing in front of the might of a strong Golden Core State. Not to mention that after so long, Who knew if she was dead or not? What if she was dead? He just wanted to find a place to recover and ascend to golden core state. Anything had to wait until after that. Guang Wei saw that Yi Mo was about to leave, and her face went pale. She suddenly thought of something and said, "My martial sister and I were hunted by them because we found a large patch of yellow 3 leaves. They must have something important to do, coming all the way here. Furthermore, we've already killed 2 of the 4 golden core state cultivators. If we meet up with Mushin and the others dash, hearing about the yellow 3 leaves." Yi Mo immediately turned around and said, "What are we waiting for then? Hurry up and go." Then he immediately got on his flying pike. He was about to reach the golden core state, but he didn't have any herbs for golden core state cultivation. If he wanted to reach higher states faster, then he needed large amounts of resources. He even dared to steal things from hollow spirit state cultivators, much less from 2 golden core state cultivators. Guang Wei looked at Yi Mo a bit stunned. She didn't expect Yi Mo to agree just because of that. Wasn't this too straightforward? He just said he couldn't beat golden core states, and now he was getting ready to go as soon as he heard yellow 3 leaf. But Guang Wei didn't dare to scorn him for fearing that he wouldn't go. When she saw Yi Mo's low-grade flying spirit artifact, she wasn't even shocked. It was normal for an overpowered cultivator like Yi Mo to have a low-grade flying spirit artifact at the Foundation establishment state. Guang Wei picked up the golden core state level 3 storage ring and gave it to Yi Mo. "You killed him. You deserve it." Yi Mo said plainly, "I killed the level 4, and I took his ring. As for the level 3, that's your loot. I won't take what's yours." Yi Mo denied himself being involved at all. Guang Wei knew that it had something to do with Yi Mo, but Yi Mo wasn't going to admit anything. "You control the flying pike I need to recover," Yi Mo said. His injuries looked serious, but Yi Mo knew it was only a matter of cultivation essence exhaustion and some external injuries. For hours later, Yi Mo had completely recovered. He didn't take over the flying pike, but instead started looking at the golden core state level 4 storage ring. There were more than 100,000 top-grade spirit stones inside, and about the same amount of middle-grade spirit stones. There were also large amounts of golden core state cultivation pills and the 4 colored swords. Yi Mo also found an incomplete jade slip inside. It had the Wang 4 swords. It was a very good sword ability, but Yi Mo had illusion cloud, so he didn't look at it and left it to the side. Other than this, he also found a jade card that said, "Flowing Cloud Sword Sect, Luo Zixiang." It was probably his identity card. There were also tens of jade boxes that contained the herbs he had found. Yi Mo took everything, took a shower, and changed his clothes before coming out. "How long?" Yi Mo asked Guang Wei, who seemed a little worried. Guang Wei said, "Almost there." Yi Mo also started inserting cultivation essence into the flying pike, and it cut through the air even faster. 30 minutes later, the flying pike landed outside a huge valley. "Martial Sister Mushin, you're okay?" "Great. Where are those villains?" Guang Wei charged out immediately and ran up to Qin Mushin. She didn't expect that Qin Mushin would only have some blood on her and wouldn't even be heavily injured. Qin Mushin looked joyful when she saw Guang Wei and quickly said, "Martial sister, I was very worried about you, but I didn't know which way you ran. It's so good to know you're fine." "What's this?" Guang Wei guessed that something special must have happened. When she turned around, she saw the 2 golden core state cultivators who were attacking them when she ran. Her martial sister was fine, so why were the 2 still there? There seemed to be more people around them too. "These martial brothers from the God Sword Sect and Duo Heart Valley helped us," Qin Mushin said as she pointed at those golden core state cultivators and introduced them. "This is God Sword Sect's martial brother Shumen Chao. This is Duo Heart Valley's martial brother, Zhiku." Guang Wei quickly went up and thanked them. If it weren't for these people, the immortal herb valley would have suffered greatly this time. Yi Mo saw that Qin Mushin had a few people next to her and knew that she had been saved. However, when he put away the flying pike, he realized that the atmosphere didn't seem right. Qin Mushin's side and the other side seemed to be in a stalemate. Chapter 919. Only one move. Chapter 919. Only one move. Yi Mo looked at the messy valley and knew there had been a battle not long before. The opposing side of that battle must have been the cultivators from the South Peace State. Guang Wei had guessed right. Those people had indeed come with a clear purpose in mind. The South Peace State's cultivation level was much higher than other places, much less than North Far States, which was at the bottom. It's you? Where Marshal Brother Luo and Marshal Brother Xen. A Golden Core State level 5 recognized Guang Wei and yelled. He thought that a Golden Core State level 4 and level 3 should easily have been able to kill a Golden Core State level 1, but now this level 1 came back fine, while their 2 cultivators didn't come back. Guang Wei sneered. What's your marshal brother going missing got to do with me? Am I responsible for watching him? Guang Wei's words made the cultivators from the North Far State laugh. Qin Mushin also noticed Yi Mo and asked Guang Wei in confusion, Marshal sister, why are you with him? Isn't it too bringing him here? Guang Wei said to Yi Mo, Marshal brother Yi, come here. She said to Qin Mushin, I found Marshal Brother Yi to help you, but I didn't expect you would already have a few Marshal Brothers helping you. Haha. One cultivator heard this and couldn't hold back his laughter. This cultivator was standing near Zhiqiu, who was from the Duo Heart Valley too. He said, You found a foundation establishment state cultivator to come help? Laughing at someone else? You're a foundation establishment state too. Guang Wei replied coldly. She knew who this cultivator was. He was in the Foundation Establishment State Hall of Fame, but she didn't care. Qin Mushin felt Guang Wei was being unreasonable, but the laugh had made her uncomfortable too. However, the Duo Heart Valley cultivators had just saved her, so she just glanced coldly at the cultivator who laughed. Hi, Xan, don't be rude. Marshal Sister Guang Wei is your Qianbei. How can you be so rude? Zhiqiu immediately reproached. The cultivator stopped laughing and bowed to Guang Wei and didn't speak again. Zhiqiu saluted with his fists to Guang Wei and said, Those 2 Golden Core State cultivators weren't simple. Even I can't say I could beat one of them with certainty. Also, Hai Xan might be at the peak stage of the Foundation Establishment State, as well as number 2 in the Foundation Establishment State Hall of Fame. He has no right to talk in front of a Golden Core State. Zhiqiu was still telling her in a polite, roundabout way that it was quite blasphemous to find a Foundation Establishment State cultivator to help. But Guang Wei didn't say anything. Even though this Hai Xan was the Foundation Establishment State Hall of Fame number 2, he would be instantly killed by Yi Mo, even if Zhiqiu fought Yi Mo himself, who knew what might happen. Yi Mo was the craziest prodigy she had ever seen. Hai Xan saw that Guang Wei didn't rebuke, but the contempt in her eyes was clear, so he was unsatisfied. He walked up to Yi Mo and said, Having heard of your strength, I would like to see. Don't worry, 3 moves is enough. Yi Mo was already unhappy about being unable to see the yellow 3 leaves, and now this Hai Xan came up to challenge him. So what if he was a bit stronger? Was Foundation Establishment State Hall of Fame number 2 really that great? Seeing Yi Mo not planning on taking out his magic artifact, Hai Xan didn't plan to either. He just raised his hand and said, I'll fight you with my fist 3 moves. Don't worry, just 3 moves. Yi Mo stared coldly at him. Who is Hai Dan to you? Hai Xan was dazed, but he said, She's my younger sister, why? Hearing about his sister, suddenly his face looked bad. Why did Yi Mo ask about his sister? Did his sister suffer in his hands? If that were the case, this wouldn't be a matter of 3 fists. Yi Mo nodded and said, "Then hurry up, I don't have time to play with you." "Don't worry, just one move." Hai Xian's face went red. Even the #1 foundation establishment State Hall of Fame, Li Xiaohua, didn't dare to be this cocky with him. Hai Xian didn't speak anymore. He gathered all his cultivation essence and punched at Yi Mo with full force. He was going to teach Yi Mo a lesson. He wanted to break a few of Yi Mo's chest bones first. Seeing Hai Xian do that, Qin Muxin frowned because a few months ago, even she was no match for Hai Xian. Zhiqiushui sighed as he took out a recovery pill. It was for Yi Mo for after he got injured, or else they would be offending Guangwei. But Qin Muxin and Zhiqiushui felt confused that Guangwei didn't seem to care at all. Yi Mo felt the overpowering fist wind, which locked down his surroundings. He knew that Hai Xian was out to heavily injure him. His eyes went cold as he punched out too. Everyone could see the essence of Hai Xian's punch. It bound the opponent's space and then forced them to take the fist. With Hai Xian's cultivation essence, ordinary foundation establishment state cultivators wouldn't be able to escape it at all. Yet Yi Mo broke free and actually punched out normally. Hai Xian was completely shocked. He was attacking with full power, but Yi Mo broke free from the binding so easily. The 2 fists clashed, and with a crack, Hai Xian flew out. Zhiqiushui quickly caught Hai Xian and found that all the bones in his hand were broken. He quickly fed him a pill. Everyone looked at Yi Mo in shock. Even an ordinary golden core state level 1 wouldn't be able to punch Hai Xian away with just his fist. Yi Mo patted his hand and said, "You're the same type of person as your sister indeed. But on account of you, Ruyu, I'll only break 1 arm." Hai Xian clearly knew who Ruyu was. He was the God Sword sect member who was about to marry his sister. After a long while, everyone realized what had happened. This foundation establishment state cultivator was too strong. He had sent the foundation establishment state Hall of Fame #2 flying with 1 fist, and he had clearly not even been using his full power. No one would dare to believe it if they didn't see it with their own eyes. He was this strong. Qin Muxin muttered. Guangwei nodded. "He's strong, but he's got a very low temperament. After this guy saved me, you know what the first thing he said was? He repeated to me what I told him back then, telling me to go back home and concoct pills." "Wait, he saved you?" Qin Muxin was even more shocked. Before Guangwei could reply, the Golden Core State cultivator who stopped Qin Muxin before spoke to Yi Mo coldly. "Do you have something to do with Marshall Brother not coming back?" Yi Mo's power didn't seem to be weaker than a Golden Core State primary stage cultivator's, and he had come back with Guangwei after all. Yi Mo glanced contemptuously at this Golden Core State fellow and didn't reply. He just wanted to ask Guangwei why he wasn't seeing any yellow 3 leaves. At this moment, a few more sword lights flew over. On both sides, a few more Golden Core State cultivators arrives. "Okay, we have enough people. Let's move." The South Peace Side's Golden Core State peak stage cultivator said. Chapter 920. Insolent. Chapter 920. Insolent Yi Mo realized that there were about 20 people on each side. Just when Yi Mo was about to ask Guangwei what was going on, he saw Guangwei and Qin Muxin go towards a beautiful woman in her 30s. There was a teenage girl next to her. "Big Marshall's sister." Guangwei and Qin Muxin called out in joy. Yi Mo greeted the 4 cultivators from the immortal Her Valley and then asked Guangwei, "Do you know what's going on?" Guangwei shook her head in confusion. "I don't know." The big Marshall's sister also looked at Yi Mo in confusion. She hadn't gone to the pill concoction tournament, so she didn't know Yi Mo. However, She could tell he was a foundation establishment state cultivator and hadn't even called Guang Wei with an honorable title. Yet Guang Wei wasn't angry, and Guang Wei wasn't so easy to talk to. Qin Muxin glanced at Yimo once and said, "There's a big ruin in the herb valley, and it's said that there are countless spirit herbs inside, all of level 5 or above. There's even said to be the level 8 spirit herb soul return fruit." The soul return fruit was an overpowered spirit herb. It was said that when a cultivator died, as long as the body was preserved, one could use the soul return fruit to concoct the soul nourishing pill. It could gradually repair the soul of a dead cultivator. "Is it in the ruin?" Yi Mo immediately asked. He was thinking about Nia Shuangshuang. Her body had been preserved, but her soul was missing. Perhaps it could wake her up. Qin Muxin shook her head. "No, it's in this valley." Somehow, the people from the South Peace State knew about this and found it. Marshal Brother Zhe and Shimin came after hearing this. Yi Mo had understood. It seemed Qin Muxin and Guang Wei had found the yellow 3-leaf there, but they had ran into the cultivators from the South Peace State who had been looking for the ruin. Then the two parties had fought over the yellow 3-leaf, but neither of them could beat the other. Even after the martial brother from the God Sword sect had arrived, he still couldn't beat that Luo cultivator. The situation finally stabilized after Shimin Chao and martial brothers arrived. Now, both sides had about the same number of golden core state cultivators, about 40 people altogether. Both sides had 2 golden core state peak stage cultivators too. The Southerners had 3 golden core state tertiary stage masters, and the Northerners had 2. The rest were at golden core state, primary stage, and middle stage. Both sides started to go into the valley. Yi Mo was aware that he was from the north, but no one knew him or greeted him. He was a solo cultivator. Guang Wei saw this. She knew that although Yi Mo had beaten Hai Xan, no one considered his foundation establishment state power valuable, so she wanted to call Yi Mo. However, Qin Muxin said, "Yi Mo, thanks for saving Marshall's sister Guang Wei," but Yi Mo said plainly, "But what?" "Are you trying to say that it's best if I don't go in? That even if I go in, it won't benefit me much?" Qin Muxin nodded awkwardly. "Yes, the portal also has limited spots. You're by yourself, so before Yi Mo could reply, the big martial sister called them. "Hurry up, Guang Wei Muxin." The 2 women smiled apologetically to Yi Mo and went inside. Yi Mo sneered. His power was low, but if he didn't fight for such a good opportunity, how could he pursue the great Tao? Just like half a month ago, if he hadn't taken the risk of stealing the spirit marrow, could he have reached foundation establishment state peak? There was no danger in sitting at home. However, would he ever reach golden core state, nascent soul state, or even hollow spirit state at home? Yi Mo followed them without hesitation. This secret land inside the herb valley would be at least on the same level as the spirit marrow pond. He would be an idiot if he didn't fight for it. Seeing Yi Mo follow them inside, Qin Muxin sighed and didn't say anything. 15 minutes later, Yi Mo followed the crowd and arrived at a big stage that seemed to be used for sacrifices and rituals. Everyone stopped moving. Yi Mo was a formation master. Just by looking at this place, he could tell they were surrounded by a huge formation. However, the formation had been broken a long time ago. The South Peace State's Golden Core State Peak Stage cultivator said on the huge stage, 50 years ago, our southern Qianbais found this place, but they didn't have enough people to cross the formation and enter the herb garden. Time was up, so they had to leave. There's 7 formations here. Each one must have at least 1 cultivator inserting cultivation essence to activate it. Yi Mo heard this and looked around carefully. There were indeed 2 obscure teleportation formations on the stage. It was a 7-star formation he could recognize from what he had seen on Earth. However, each formation could only transport 3 people. Then the Golden Core State Peak Stage cultivator said, Each formation can only be activated once, and it can only transport 3 people. There are 7 formations, which means that only 21 people can go. I suggest that everyone fights over the formations on your own, but we can't fight together as 2 whole parties. We should deal with whatever problems we have after coming out. I agree, the Northern Golden Core State Peak Stage cultivator said. He immediately chose a formation. I'll take this formation. Goodbye, Wenrin Tian, come to my side. Then the Southern Golden Core State Peak Stage cultivator took the second one without hesitation and called 2 people. They were both at Golden Core State Peak Stage. No one dared to fight with them. The immortal Herb Valley's big martial sister said, Guang Wei and Mushin, one of you come with me. Chi-Chi, come. She didn't dare leave Chi-Chi outside. She was the weakest disciple of their sect there, and she was only at Foundation Establishment State. Guang Wei said to Mushin, Martial Sister Mushin, your pill concoction skills are better than mine. You go in. I'll stay outside with Yi Mo. She believed that Yi Mo wouldn't be able to go in for sure. Qin Mushin wanted Guang Wei to go in, but she felt it was going to be awkward if stayed outside with Yi Mo. Hence, she might as well let Martial Sister Guang Wei stay outside. Then another Golden Core State Peak Stage cultivator and 2 Golden Core State Level 8's cultivators took a formation each, bringing people from their sect. After a short moment, there was only 1 formation left. Yi Mo saw the last formation. Without thinking much, he could tell that no matter who took it, he wouldn't get a share. Before anyone could come forward, he got on the stage quickly and said, This formation is mine. Everyone looked at Yi Mo in a daze. They couldn't tell whether Yi Mo was dumb or insolent. There were a few Golden Core State Level 7 cultivators left and a bunch of Golden Core State Middle Stage cultivators. A Foundation Establishment State insect dared to claim a formation. Hai Xian actually didn't laugh at Yi Mo this time. He could just feel the pain of his broken hand. So he's an idiot. I was fighting with an idiot. Then he shook his head. Yi Mo's actions were so outrageous that no one had challenged him yet. The big martial sister of Immortal Herb Valley looked at Yi Mo in shock and asked Qin Mushin, Mushin, who is this Foundation Establishment State cultivator? Do you and Guang Wei know him? Why does he seem a little dumb? Qin Mushin looked down awkwardly, relieved that this idiot who was good at pill concoction hadn't become her husband. Yi Mo, get down immediately. Guang Wei said desperately to Yi Mo. She knew Yi Mo was strong, but she was aware that Yi Mo could only fight with a Golden Core State Level 4 cultivator at most. How could he beat all the Golden Core State Middle Stage and Tertiary Stage Masters there? Yi Mo knew what they were thinking, but he sneered. The most powerful cultivator left was at Golden Core State Level 7. He was no match for that now, but he had the 3-birth chant. He could cultivate while doing other things. If a Golden Core State Level 7 cultivator came to him, he would take the Cultivation Increasing Pill and the Lin Blue Fruit. He could form his core and use the Heavenly Punishment to scare them. P*SS off. How can a mere Foundation Establishment State insect dare to take a formation? The southern cultivator who had doubted Yi Mo appeared again. He knew he wasn't going to be able to get one with his level 5 power, but he wanted to kill Yi Mo first. Chapter 9:21 Madness. Chapter 9:21 Madness. Yi Mo was prepared for a heavy battle as soon as he got on the platform. When he saw a Golden Core State Level 5 cultivator challenge him, he took a Cultivation Increasing Pill and the Lin Blue Fruit without hesitation. Guang Wei noticed that Yi Mo wasn't getting off and that he had instead taken some pills. The challenger was at Golden Core State Level 5 and stronger than the Level 4 cultivator they had killed together. She yelled desperately to her big martial sister, "Big martial sister, help him!" He dashed. The big marshal's sister glanced at the two Golden Core State Peak Stage cultivators from the south side and shook her head. She couldn't. If she did, she would be breaking the rules. She would be attacked by everyone. Guang Wei was desperate. She wanted to go up and help. The big marshal's sister quickly yelled, "Guang Wei, stop! Do you think you can help him?" Guang Wei heard this and calmed down. She knew that she wasn't able to do much. She sighed. She hoped Yemo would give up when he couldn't beat the challenger. But she realized that the cultivator had a face full of killing intent. The Lin Blue fruit! A few cultivators had recognized the fruit Yemo had taken and exclaimed. Their eyes were filled with greed. The Lin Blue fruit was very rare. It wasn't a level 7 spirit herb, but it wasn't less valuable than one. Yet this Foundation Establishment State cultivator had the Lin Blue fruit. The Golden Core State level 5 master sneered, P** and K. Remember my name, South P State, Flowing Cloud Sword Sect, Jean Suajin. On account of your Lin Blue fruit, I'll leave your body in one piece. Everyone regretted not having gone up earlier. If they had, the Lin Blue fruit would have been theirs after killing Yi, Mo. Jean Suajin waved his hand, and a gray metal hoop charged at Mo. The hoop was only the size of 2 palms in Jean Suajin's hands. But when it stopped above Emo's head, it turned into a 1-meter-sized hoop. Tens of dark rays were shot out of the hoop with an eerie killing chi. Qin Mushin saw this, and her expression changed. She hadn't expected Jean Suajin to use such a cruel move immediately. She had lost to that dark hoop. If she hadn't had a spirit artifact armor, she might have even died to that. The dark rays were very powerful. They could even dissolve spirit sense. Yi Mo immediately felt pain on his spirit sense when the hoop came out. He was shook. He hadn't expected to encounter a magic artifact that could corrode spirit sense. Meanwhile, the cultivation increasing pale and the Lin Blue fruit's potency spread. Yi Mo felt like his body was on fire. He was betting on the 3-birth chant. When he used the 3-birth chant, countless spirit chi formed a spirit chi whirlpool around him. Meanwhile, Yi Mo used his first strike, the illusion cloud essence binding strike. He had to defend himself against the attacks. However, these attacks could activate his potential. The sword ray's target wasn't Jean Suajin, but the dark rays from the hoop. The sword rays mixed with the dark rays, which made a sizzling sound. At the same time, Yemo waved his hand. Countless top-grade spirit stones flew up, forming a simple spirit gathering formation. Immediately, more spirit chi appeared, and it formed an even bigger spirit chi whirlpool around him. His foundation would have been more stable if he did this 2 years later, but he didn't have the time. Hence, he could only think of taking advantage of that life and death situation to activate his potential. When everyone saw Yi Mo block the hoop attack, they were already quite shocked. However, they were astonished upon seeing Yi Mo's huge spirit chi whirlpool. When people saw Yi Mo throw countless top-grade spirit stones into a simple formation, they all realized that Yi Mo was trying to form his core. Mad. No one could believe Yi Mo was sober at that moment. A Foundation Establishment State cultivator was blocking the full-powered attack of a Golden Core State cultivator. Yet he dared to form his core at this moment. He was asking to die, and even if he didn't die, his cultivation would go wrong. The big marshal's sister looked dazedly at this scene and said to Qin Mushin, "I was wrong. He's not an idiot, he's a madman." Guang Wei also looked at Yi Mo in daze, not daring to believe he was this crazy. This wasn't even crazy anymore, it was something else. Jean Suajin's face was green. It was like slapping him in the face. His lethal move hadn't worked against a Foundation Establishment State cultivator. Yet this insect dared to form his core while fighting him. The irate Jean Suajin threw a dark red ball at Yi Mo and took out a long sword. Everyone shook their heads at this. Jean Suajin was a Golden Core State level 5 fighting a foundation establishment state cultivator. This was embarrassing enough, and yet he used red lightning. Red lightning was an one-time use spirit-level magic artifact made by lightning element cultivators. It could explode and shoot powerful lightning. Usually, even golden core state tertiary stage cultivator wouldn't be able to escape from this, much less a foundation establishment state cultivator. The three-birth chant devoured the spirit chi like crazy, and he could feel the pressure of the dark rays. With that, it triggered his body to exert more potential. He was about to break through at any moment. Yi Mo saw the red lightning. If Yi Mo hadn't known he could devour the lightning source, he would have gotten as far away as possible. But now he stopped his counterattack. Rumble, rumble, Yi Mo was completely surrounded by the red lightning. Countless lightning sparks and explosions sounded where Yi Mo stood, pushing the spirit chi whirlpool all over the place. However, Yi Mo closed his eyes and used the illusion cloud exert will strike. His power reached the border of golden core state. Zisu shot out countless sword rays, and tens of them directed under Yi Mo's will, blocking the dark ray, while others went out and stopped the pieces of exploding red lightning. The most powerful lightning ray hadn't been blocked at all, and it all landed on Yi Mo. Even the parts that missed were drawn to Yi Mo. Yi Mo had forgotten he was in a battle now. He had gotten immersed in devouring the lightning. As he continued to devour the lightning, his power kept increasing, and the spirit chi whirlpool above his head grew bigger and bigger. Everyone saw Yi Mo getting hit, and they all assumed he was over. Even a golden core state peak stage would be half dead after getting hit like that. Guang Wei closed her eyes in pain. She knew Yi Mo was over. Qin Muxin sighed. She approved of Yi Mo quite highly. Becoming the pill concoction hall of fame's #1 wasn't so easy, and even her master had thought Yi Mo was a genius. She hadn't even rejected too firmly the idea marrying him. She had only been angry when Yi Mo rejected her, but now that Yi Mo was covered in lightning, she felt a little sad. Chapter 922 Long Howl. Chapter 922 Long Howl. However, everyone felt something was wrong. Amidst the explosion, the spirit chi whirlpool was getting bigger and bigger. Jin Suajin saw occasionally rainbows and spirit chi clouds flash. He immediately realized that the foundation establishment state insect wasn't dead, and he was about to form his core instead. A golden core that could attract rainbow spirit clouds was no ordinary golden core. Thinking about this, Jin Suajin's expression changed drastically. He activated his hoop with full power and charged at Yi Mo with his long sword. Yi Mo closed his eyes. He could tell that Jin Suajin had come in. He sneered and shook his Zisu. Countless whirlpool sword rays pierced Jin Suajin. If he hadn't been about to break through, his cultivation essence now could have killed Jin Suajin in one move. A rainbow spirit cloud! All the golden core state cultivators called out in shock. They were dumbfounded. When a cultivator was about to form his golden core, a spirit cloud would take form, allowing the cultivator's power to have a qualitative ascension. However, they had only heard about the legendary rainbow spirit cloud that formed only once the golden core reached a certain quality. None of them had seen one before. Yet they saw one that day, one that was huge. They stared in a daze at the rainbow cloud that a madman had formed while fighting against another golden core state cultivator. Everyone fell silent, each lost in their own thoughts. The few other golden core state peak stage cultivators saw this and wanted to kill Yi Mo now. Some of the northern cultivators considered attacking, but they eventually didn't. They couldn't know whether the rest would join them. Big Marshal Sister, what is a rainbow spirit cloud? Chi-Chi asked in shock. The Big Marshal Sister didn't take her eyes off the clouds and said, If a cultivator wants to reach higher states, they need to build a good foundation. The golden core is the foundation for a cultivator to reach higher states. Golden cores are divided into 9 types or 9 levels. Only those who are level 3 or higher can have hope of reaching higher states. Your Marshall sister Mushin has a level 2 golden core, but I'm only level 3. Then those below level 3 won't have any chances of ascending into the immortal realm. Chi-Chi asked. The big Marshall sister shook her head. No, even someone with a level 9 golden core has a sliver of hope. The heavenly Tao gives a chance to all beings, but this sliver of hope is next to nothing. Chi-Chi nodded. Then, big Marshall sister, did Yi-Mo form a level 1 golden core? The big Marshall sister shook her head again. No, level 1 to 9 golden cores don't have rainbow spirit clouds. There are 3 types of golden cores that can have rainbow spirit clouds. These 3 types are above the 9 levels of the cultivation realm. I only know there's 3 types, but not what they are exactly. Clearly, Yi-Mo is about to form one of them. While Jin Suajin was still fighting with Yi-Mo's Zisu, Yi-Mo suddenly felt his meridians shake. Countless cultivation essence gathered and spirit chi rushed into his body like crazy. He felt he was lacking in spirit chi, however. Just when Yi-Mo was about to take out the spirit marrow, a large patch of rainbow spirit cloud landed above his head and a sense of extreme comfort rose from his heart. His power skyrocketed and the spirit chi whirlpool grew even bigger. In the blink of an eye, Yi-Mo felt his power had reached a maximum limit. The next moment, using his 3 birth chant, the rainbow cloud and his cultivation essence formed a lychee-sized golden core. Yi-Mo rejoiced. He could tell that he had successfully formed his golden core, so he devoured spirit chi like crazy. Jin Suajin had just broken free from Yi-Mo's whirlpool sword rays, but he felt Yi-Mo's immense power. He was shook. He realized that Yi-Mo had reached golden core state. This golden core state, level 1 cultivator, emitted a power that even he felt scared of. Jin Suajin didn't have any battle will anymore. Realizing this, Jin Suajin decided to run away. If he didn't run now, perhaps he wouldn't be able to. Yi-Mo felt the power and abundance of cultivation essence in golden core state, level 1. He had felt a little scared that he had dared to fight against a golden core state cultivator with foundation establishment state power. The golden core state power was far from what a foundation establishment state cultivator could compare with. The instant Jin Suajin tried to run away, Yi-Mo felt it. He sneered, "Do you want to run away? Too late. Once you're here, you can't change your mind." Then Yi-Mo spun Zisu. This was the first time he used the illusion cloud essence binding strike as a golden core state cultivator. Jin Suajin felt something locking him on the spot. He was shook and spat essence blood, wanting to break free. He couldn't understand how this cultivator was so strong after just having reached golden core state. But before he could completely break free, the second strike arrived. Countless purple sword rays pierced his body without resistance, creating a blood mist. Yi-Mo's sword ray spun, and Jin Suajin's fat head flew away, splashing blood all over the ground. Yi-Mo felt satisfaction. His illusion cloud essence binding strike had never been so smooth against a golden core state master. It was the first time he killed a golden core state cultivator without the help of Shadowless. Yi-Mo took his storage ring and the dark hoop. He howled, clenching his Zisu. He felt like he had been living a succumbing life. He had had to suck up to people, to run away at the spirit marrow pond while watching the spirit crystals he wanted to get taken away. He had been laughed by all of these people for wanting to take a formation. Now he had easily killed a golden core state level 5 cultivator. He could finally scream at the top of his lungs and let out all of his dissatisfaction. All of the cultivators looked dazedly at the headless Jean Suajin and Yemo, who howled with a purple kitchen knife. Yemo was like a god. After a long while, no cultivator dared to challenge Yemo. There were 2 Golden Core State Level 7 cultivators. But if Yemo could stop a Golden Core State Level 5 when he had been at Foundation Establishment State and he had killed Jean Suajin immediately after reaching Golden Core State, his limits were unimaginable. He even had a rainbow spirit cloud to help him form his core. Even a Golden Core State Level 7 cultivator wouldn't be so confident against such a person. He actually succeeded. The big marshal's sister looked at Yi Mo in shock. She had thought of someone like him to be an idiot, a madman. Qin Mushin also looked at Yi Mo in disbelief. She suddenly understood what her master had been trying to do. Yi Mo wasn't just a genius, he was beyond that. He got chosen as the Pill Concoction Hall of Fame's #1, and he created a pill recipe on the spot called the Spirit Weaving Pill. The pill included the Spirit Attraction Grass. It can be used to recover spirit sense. Qin Mushin said slowly to her big martial sister. What? Her big martial sister was shook upon hearing this. She gulped and sighed after a long while. I saw wrong. He's really cool. Chi-Chi watched Yemo howl and said admiringly. The southern cultivators looked at him in a daze. No one dared to challenge him. Even the northern side cultivators looked at Yemo in disbelief. No one would believe such a story if they spread this out. Hai Xan looked at Yemo and murmured to himself, So, I'm the idiot. Chapter 9:23 Taking the Formation with Dominance. Chapter 9:23 Taking the Formation with Dominance. Silence remained for some time, but someone still came out. It was a Golden Core State Level 7 cultivator from the south. Yi Mo had just killed Jean Suajin, but that cultivator felt that a Golden Core State Level 5 cultivator and a Level 7 one were completely different stories. One was at tertiary stage, and the other had been at middle stage. There was a huge gap in between, so he believed he could beat Yi Mo seeing another Golden Core State tertiary stage cultivator challenge Mo. Everyone set their eyes on the 2 men. They all wanted to know who was stronger, Mo, who had just reached Golden Core State, or this Golden Core State tertiary stage master. Yi Mo held Zisu. He watched the Golden Core State tertiary stage cultivator calmly. He wasn't certain he could win, but if used shadowless, he was sure he could kill that man. The cultivator walked up to the formation and saluted Yi Mo with his fists. I'm the South Peace State's 5-star sect, Truth Black Sex Han Chinya. I'm not here to fight you. I'm here to negotiate. If you give me one of your Lin blue fruits and let me get on the formation, I won't attack you and will help you guard this formation instead. Of course, I will compensate you with some spirit stones. Everyone heard this and cursed Han Chinya for being so cunning. Han Chinya had decided that if Yi Mo didn't give him the Lin blue fruit, he would show his power and force Yi Mo to take them out. He believed Yi Mo wasn't an idiot and he would take his proposal into consideration. P*SS off. Yi Mo said. The spirit stones were just to make Yi Mo not lose too much face. In the end, he just wanted the Lin blue fruit for free. Han Chinya heard this, and his face got red in anger. He wanted Yi Mo to feel pressured and give in, but it had ended up like this. He had lost face in front of so many cultivators. Without a word, Han Chinya waved his 2 hands, and countless red lights flashed from his hand. The light dots looked like bugs, and they were abominable. These dots gathered together and formed a pan-sized blade. The blade had countless legs, like a centipede, and he charged at Yi Mo with sharp killing intent. Yi Mo frowned. It looked very disgusting, and it had a putrid stench. Seeing this, Yi Mo swung his Zisu and used a whirlpool blade immediately. Countless bloodlights flashed, and the spinning sword Rei Zisu had activated turned the blood blade into pulp. After a huge explosion, Han Chinya's blood blade had still managed to tear a gash on Yi Mo's clothes, but he hadn't stayed unaffected either. The whirlpool sword ray had not only destroyed his blood blade, but it also left a few gashes on his body. Han Chinya's face was pale, and he took a few steps back. He hadn't thought that newly ascended Golden Core State Cultivator would be on par with him in terms of cultivation essence. Yi Mo sneered and waved his hand. Zi Su flew back in his hands. His power had also risen drastically. He needed to show that Han did how good he was, otherwise, more people would come up and challenge him. Han Chinya saw Yi Mo's chi rise and his expression changed drastically. Eventually, he decided not to move forward. He could tell that this Golden Core State Level 1 cultivator had stronger moves. Although he had his own lethal move, it wasn't the place to fight with his life. He chose to retreat. Yi Mo was dazed. He hadn't expected Han Chinya to retreat. No one else had expected this either. However, no one thought that Han Chinya was just being too cautious. They had realized that this Golden Core State primary stage young cultivator was no simple character. The scene fell silent again. Even the Golden Core State peak stage cultivator felt a little concerned about Yi Mo. This cultivator was only at Golden Core State Level 1. Once he reached tertiary stage or even middle stage, who would be a match for him? Yi Mo looked around. He was sure that no one was going to challenge him. He then said to Guang Wei, "Martial Sister Guang Wei, thanks for your goodwill before. Come here." Guang Wei woke up from her daze. She breathed at ease and approached him. She had understood that Yi Mo was no longer that solo cultivator pill master. Even in a place filled with masters like this, no one dared to do anything to him. "Thank you, Yi Mo. You did not only save my life, but you also brought me into the secret land." Guang Wei thanked him. She knew that Yi Mo was thanking her for bringing him and worrying for him before, not because he liked her. The immortal Herb Valley's big martial sister saw Yi Mo let Guang Wei join him and thanked him. "Thank you, martial brother Yi, for bringing Guang Wei with you. The immortal Herb Valley's Lu Yuetang is very grateful." Yi Mo glanced at her and said calmly, "This has nothing to do with you, nor with the immortal Herb Valley. You don't need to thank me." Lu Yuetang felt awkward. She wanted to get closer to him, but she hadn't expected this. Yi Mo had been there for a while and could tell what sort of person that big martial sister was. She was at Golden Core State peak stage, but she was very realistic. She didn't value friendship at all. To her, she would face someone happily if there was something to benefit her. Otherwise, she wouldn't even bother looking at you. The other Golden Core State Level 6 cultivator saw there was one more spot on Yi Mo's formation and approached him quickly. Seeing this, people got excited again. Was this person also going to charge at Yi Mo? Yi Mo had been done with Han Chenyi in one move. People hadn't even gotten to savor the fun. Guang Wei began to worry, but Yi Mo's face was calm. He didn't move at all. His sixth sense was strong. This cultivator didn't have any killing intent, nor had he gathered his power. This cultivator walked up to Yi Mo and gave him a spirit crystal. "I'm the Blue Sea Sex, Qiu Xuanyu. I'm also from the north, like you. I got this spirit crystal not long ago, and I just want a chance to go into the secret lands." "A spirit crystal?" Yi Mo scanned it and said calmly, "One isn't enough." Yi Mo was sure that it was the first time he saw that cultivator. He hadn't seen him at the spirit marrow pond. Without thought, Yi Mo could tell that this guy had robbed someone else, but he was trying to act like Mr. Nice Guy there. Everyone felt Yi Mo was being too shameless. Spirit crystals weren't as precious as extreme grade spirit stones, but they were hard to find. Qiu Xuanyu bit his teeth and took out another one. "I only have 2. If 2 isn't enough, then never mind." Yi Mo knew that there had been a lot in the pond, but there had been too many people there to share it with. The Golden Core State Level 9 cultivators took the most, so Chiu Xuanyu wouldn't have had a lot even if he had robbed someone. Yi Emo nodded and accepted them. In that case, come up. You're tuning in to the Thunder Spear YouTube channel. Don't forget to subscribe and join us on this journey to catch the most captivating stories.